2025 Toyota AFL Premiership season. Welcome to AFL Nation.
And a big welcome to Marvel Stadium as Sir Doug Nicholls' round continues between the Dogs and the Bombers. It's 7th place Western Bulldogs up against the 10th place Bombers, who have shown a bit in season 2025 with their 5 wins and 3 losses. The Bulldogs coming back from a trip to Darwin last week. Can they get on the board tonight after a tough loss last weekend? It's AFL Nation for Elders, for Australian Agriculture and 4 and 20 Pies, and this is the pre-game show for Before You Dig, before every job. Search Before You Dig online every time. John Donohoe with you, joining me in commentary. It's always great to sit next to this man. I'm told his stats on the sheet here are wrong, so I won't read them out, but his name is Nick Butler, and he is a superstar of the local and state league ranks. Hello, Butts.
Donners, thank you for that pump up. Look, wrapped to be here. EJ Whitten Cup, Sir Doug Nicholls round 2, final 8 contenders. Good game of Saturday night footy, mate. Can't wait to get into it.
Absolutely. Josh Jenkins is our expert for MEGT. JJ, we saw the Doggies last week. I thought they were pretty good. They stormed home in oppressive conditions, and now they've got an opportunity in front of their home fans under the roof here to get themselves back on the board.
Indeed, that was my fault. I've got the coughs tonight, so I had the button off. But I thought they were really good, and that form's been franked. We know what Gold Coast looks like in the top end, so I couldn't have been. I think the Dogs have been the most impressive sort of improvers, maybe from where I had them personally. Maybe, Dogs fans and some others had the Dogs in a bit of a higher standing than I, with the injuries that they've had to endure. But I mean, I couldn't be more impressed with what they've done thus far. And whilst I expect to see a really, really good game of footy, I do think the Dogs' class will be hard to top. They've got such depth around the ball. With the injuries they've had, they've found a few real stars around the footy.
They certainly have. Both teams are out doing their warm-up for Ream, Australia's favourite. That's steady, hot and strong. Before we get into the preview, let's get the latest odds from the Tab.
An odds update for Tab. We're on. Chances are you're about to lose.
Terrific game between the Doggies and the Bombers. $1.27 for the Western Bulldogs. The Bombers are at $3.80. The line they're set at 24.5. Total points over around 176.5. $1.90 for each of those two options. In the first goal scorer market, Aaron Norton is the $10 favourite, and teammate Riley West at $12. And if you think it's going to be a close game, that try-bet option, either team by 15 or less, is at $3.10. But the favourite option in that market is the Bulldogs by 16 or more at $1.55. Stack of other markets to take a look at: marks, tackles, disposals, doubles, first half, second half, first, second, third, fourth quarter markets for all of the games this round. In the same game multi for the Bulldogs and the Bombers, Essendon plus 24.5. over 176.5 points, and Peter Wright to kick 2 or more at $5.50.
Brought to you by Tab. We're on. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
All right, let's get stuck into it. The weather today was cold here in Melbourne for Grundfos. 80 years globally, 45 in Australia. Grundfos submersible pumps, serious reliability, built for life. We saw a little bit of rain around at the MCG, but no rain here at Marvel Stadium. The roof is closed. Still quite chilly, though, inside. But we're in for a good contest today. JJ, what are you looking forward to most about tonight? I think the Bombers, we saw last week, they jumped the Swans in a big way. The Swannies came home late, but they were able to hold on. I think this is going to be a good game, and this is a really good test for their season to see where they're at. Yeah, it's definitely a good test to see where the Dons are at, because, there's question marks around the quality of opposition. Sydney or thereabouts, they played okay last night in what was a pretty sort of grim and scrappy game of footy. So this would be a real signature for them. This would really, I think, announce them to us as contenders to make the finals for season 2025. But even for themselves, as a player, you do know when you've only beaten and also ran. You know when you've beaten a team that you should have beaten. And tonight they'll be aware, the Bombers boys, that much is expected of them. But
they're probably not necessarily favoured when it comes to this game. So taking a scalp like this would be a great, real stepping stone for them in terms of their season and their development as a club.
I reckon fans know as well, JJ. They haven't really been singing from the rooftops, the Bombers fans. They've been kind of walking with a bit of a strut. But if they win tonight, I reckon their fair income and their fans might just start coming out of the woodwork a bit.
Yeah. And they, as you mentioned, the quality of opponent, JJ, not to take anything away from these teams, but Port Adelaide, Melbourne, West Coast by 2 points, North by 3 points, and Sydney last week is probably their biggest scalp of the year so far, and their losses have come against Hawthorn, Adelaide and Collingwood. So it's shown that they need to get a big scalp if they are to be taken seriously this year.
Yeah, and there's some, I think, some legitimate questions around their style at the moment. Now, not negatively, but just whether it's going to hold up against really good teams. They like to kick it around. Their half-backs had some unbelievably high numbers last week, McGrath and Redmond, and Nick Martin's always pretty prolific, and he can bob up ahead of the ball, out on the wing and behind the ball. But whether that type of footy can stand up, we know that high possession games are difficult, particularly in high pressure games. So that'll be the interesting part for me. I want to see whether they can play that game style, or even better, and I think Brisbane are the best at this, being able to move from plan A to plan B. So when the possession game's taken away from you, can you still be in the fight when it comes to chaos? Because I think the Dogs will bring some chaos around the footy.
Absolutely. The interesting battle in the ruck tonight as well. You would imagine Tim English should have the ascendancy over a 36-year-old Todd Goldstein, who is no slouch. I mean, the experience is there for him, but Tim English's last couple of weeks have been really strong. They've got to probably exploit that tonight, you imagine, the Bulldogs, to give Bont and Libber and Ed Richards their first use.
Yeah, I think English is benefiting from a smaller forward line, because the game in Ballarat was an amazing example of that. 17 score involvements. He kicked 3 goals. He's got space to roam into when he gets ahead of the footy. He's got plenty of opportunity to get back and help out and take some intercept marks. And I think the best version of Tim English is when he takes a couple of defensive intercept marks, but equally gets forward and poses a problem. He doesn't have to mark the footy when he goes forward, but be a bit of a target, really ask questions of the opposition, particularly with a Todd Goldstein, as you mentioned, who, his body would have to be starting to feel it coming off a preparation like he's had. He's played a little bit of AFL footy, not a heap. He certainly would be. I'd imagine Goldstein spent the past 12 months thinking more about others than himself, and now all of a sudden he's the main man in the middle. So it's a big job for him. He's crafty enough and clever enough to limit and minimise the damage, but Tim English has got to play a ruthless game of footy, because if he does, he'll have a good night.
A freak runner, Goldstein. Yeah. That's the one area, JJ, he might be able to make him work a little bit the other way, because even probably at 36, he's, I reckon, aerobically better than English, which is the one thing he's got up his sleeve.
But if you were the coaching staff from the Bombers, which of the Dogs stars are you going after tonight? Is it as simple as tagging Bont, or is it Richards has gotten off the chain in the last couple of weeks? So I reckon, if you take one, the other one will get off. So then you've got to almost find a way to quell the influence of all of them. What would you do if you put your coaching hat on?
More a question for JJ, I reckon, than me, Donners. But look, I'd be.
You're a wise football man.
If you could quell the influence of one, the Bont, he's about 5th game up today. He's about ready to peak fitness-wise. I'd be having the Bont in my crosshairs, but a very hard man to tag. You've got Caldwell back in, who's as tough as teak and can run. Richard's a beautiful player, isn't he, when he winds up on that left foot? But I reckon the Bont would have been giving Brad Scott night sweats during the week.
What do you reckon, JJ? Which one would you be going, if anyone?
Well, if you could guarantee you could shut one out, it'd be Bontempelli every single day, twice on Saturday nights. But I'm fascinated to see what Bontempelli's split looks like mid-forward. I actually think if I'm a Western Bulldogs coach, I'm probably thinking Bontempelli's a 50-50 split, because of, now, they've been a high-scoring team this year, but, watching them last week, Aaron Norton was really well held by Sam Collins. So if Norton's held tonight by, Ben Mackay or whoever it might be, Zach Reid down back, what are the other avenues to go? And that's why I think Bontempelli can go forward and spend time forward, because if you look at the rest of the midfield with Libber and Fraser and Richards, Sanders, that's a good enough midfield with Kennedy to get some supply. So I reckon Bontempelli spends a fair bit of time forward. When it looks like it. I'm not sure. Maybe, deeper in a quarter versus starting the quarter, let him play around the footy. So I would send Durham straight to Ed Richards and try and take him out of the game. I don't think he would have ever been tagged.
Yeah.
So go and test him and see what happens.
I think he's one of their guys in the middle who just gets them going. If Bont and Libba are down, Richards always is able to stand up. Signed a fresh deal to keep him at the Bulldogs during the week as well. A couple of changes for the Dogs. Taylor Giray in and Artie Jones comes in to play his first game, his third game, I should say, of season 2025. Jaden Laverty in for the Bombers. Lewis Hayes, it's a cruel game sometimes. Yeah. On debut out here against the Swans last week, tears his ACL. It was good to hear Brad Scott during the week say that, they told him when he gets back, we know you're capable of playing AFL footy. Not making him sweat and making him worry if, this will be it for him. But it's a tough blow for a young man who works so hard to get in.
Yeah, they've had a wretched run this year, Essendon, with long-term injuries. They've lost 3 or 4 players to season-ending injuries, which is incredibly difficult. So they'll be busy, you'd think, at the mid-season draft.
Well, they've lost Draper with the Achilles, Lewis Hayes with the ACL, Nick Bryan ACL, Tom Edwards ACL, dislocated ankle for Harry Jones. Jordan Ridley's done a hamstring out for 7 weeks, and Jade Gresham's got an adductor, which will keep him out for 4 weeks. So
you're a state league forward, and you've got a bit of go about you. Now's the time to kick a couple of bags of 5 or 6.
Well,
you're a
equally,
big chance.
Oh, cool. And you've got to imagine they're looking all over the joint for a ruckman.
Yeah,
you'd think.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, JJ, what could be an unmissable moment today for Drink Wise? You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
Well, I think we do genuinely have the potential for the game of the round. Now, It's got a bit to live up to versus Thursday night in the top end, but, these two teams, the speed of the game should be really good, and, the Dogs always bring some speed to the game because they like to possess the ball, they like to flick it around by hand, they like to play the game at speed and in chaos, so I'd expect it to be a pretty fast game. Essendon have got the capability. They've just really tried to balance that up with some uncontested marks. So number 3 in the competition for uncontested marks. So the game style battle is interesting. If it sort of leans more toward the Dogs game style with the ball in motion a fair bit, I think we could be in for a great game.
My unmissable moment for tonight, I just think the combination of Kako and Caddy is just going to be unbelievable for the next 10, 15 years. And they really haven't, I guess, gelled fully just yet. They're still feeling each other out. Yeah.
Caddy's had a good couple of weeks. I don't have any expectation on either of them because
I just think they're going.
It's unreasonable to, and I probably think that's the area of the ground that's going to cost Essendon, in the long run this year. It's been I've been weirdly fascinated with what they've done with Langford over the past few weeks. He's played on the wing a fair bit. I mean, he's the one I'd be plugging inside 50 and causing some headaches too. But they're going to be great players for a long time. But Kako's a small forward who's 19 years of age. It's going to be difficult for him to dominate games, but certainly they're exciting.
43 goals out of Kyle Langford last year, JJ, so they're using him in a different role for sure.
Weird.
Very, very weird. We're just about to head to ground level. I think we can, the boys will up the back will let me know if we can head to ground level for the Sir Doug Nicholls round ceremony.
As part of the AFL's Sir Doug Nicholls round, we look to celebrate the contribution of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people to our great game. It is my pleasure to now welcome Senior Wurundjeri Elder Auntie Joy Murphy-Wandin for a welcome to country.
We're here tonight to celebrate the 10th year of Sir Doug Nicholls round, and I want to pay my respect to him because he was a gentleman, a small man but full of stature, and certainly a champion in everything he achieved. We owe him so much, but we will continue to honour the legacy he has left behind. 2025 has been an up and down season, I believe, for AFL, VFL and a number of other sports. Today we all shared some very sad news. I would like to acknowledge, though, firstly, the passing of young players, exceptional when they are that young for this to happen. And I'd like to mention and pay my tribute and best wishes to Andrew Cracker's family. And then, of course, today we heard the sad passing of Troy Selwood, another young man, too young, but we're very saddened by his loss, and again, sincere condolences to his family. And in my era, the wonderful Robert Walls, a man of stigma, a man of stamina, and a man that was committed to everything he did. And again, pay our condolences to his family. We are here for a celebration. We're celebrating all Indigenous players from the past and through to the current players of today. And no matter what level they play sport at, we're all very proud of them. And I want to say to you, thank you for having me not only believe in sport, but continuing to love the game of Aussie rules. I want to thank my father, who so gracefully gave me a lesson that said, we are who we are, be proud of who we are, but we are no better than anyone else. That, of course, extends to you. I want to acknowledge all ancestors, elders and communities across this great nation and neighbouring islands. And I also want to acknowledge all of the aunties and uncles that are here with us this evening, and those who are looking on. I also want to pay deep respects to those who have passed. We know that was a tough time for you, and my brother was included in that. But your legacy we will ever cherish, and we will continue this journey as well in your honour. To you, thank you. Thank you for joining with us in this celebration tonight, and of course the rest of the Indigenous round. It is a shame when we talk about coming together that we don't do it all the time, but I hope that the memento of tonight allows that to continue for a long, long time. The way which we conduct ourselves is really important. And me, a woman who's been around for many years, have had this wonderful pleasure of welcoming people to country. And it's by no means a mean feat, but it's also a huge responsibility, and I also honour that. I honour that from the footsteps that I've been able to walk in, and also those who have stood by my side, and that's you of today. We are known as the Managum people, and I take this leaf on your behalf. Accepting this gift means that you are welcome to everything, from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. In the spirit of a great game, good luck to both the Bulldogs and Essendon. May the best team win. Our language is the Woi Wurrung. Womenjakar Wurrunjubalak, Yemen Kundibik. And you are most welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people. Notchkanwa.
Another brilliant
Thank you, Auntie Joy,
ceremony, ground level to continue Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Before we keep going, I guess we should make mention of the terrible, terrible news today, JJ. And I know you've had an involvement with the family over your journey of Adam Selwood. It's just, I can't begin to imagine what that family's gone through in the last 3 months. And today was just heartbreaking.
Sorry, that was me again. Yeah, it was. Don't really know what to say, to be honest, and won't spend too long on it. Otherwise, I'll lose my way. But we'll wrap our arms around Joel and Scott, who are unbelievably good fellas, and just can't even imagine how difficult the next months are going to be for them. Troy's funeral was one of the saddest things I've ever been to, and they're going to have to back up and do it again. So I think, as always, when we're in these types of sad events, whatever it is, we're pretty lucky to be in the AFL industry, which does a great job of getting around everyone. So as you said, thoughts to to their family.
Well said. Very sad moment. Well said, JJ. All right, let's, as much as we can, get back to what's going to take place tonight. Who could be a breakout player tonight for JJ for Australian Outdoor Living, bringing backyard dreams to life?
Well, I mean, we've seen him break out. You know, Zach Reid and what he's been able to achieve over the past few weeks. We've heard some unbelievably bold statements about him being the best player that Essendon's had over the past 20 years. I'm looking at number 7 warm up, and he looks pretty good to me. But the new Dustin Fletcher, someone said that's the hype that's around him. So I'd be interested to see whether he does take Norton, who's a bit more of a bullocking, hard-working forward, or whether they try and play him off a younger, less experienced forward. So Zach Reid is he's an exciting prospect, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. We've had the toss of the coin, so we'll get you that in just a moment for Keno Go. $40 million jackpot every 3 minutes with Keno Go. Keno Go play with $2 today. It's happened. I must be honest, I didn't see who won it, so we'll give you an eye on that.
We probably do make, particularly here at Marvel, more of the toss of the coin than we need to.
Bulldogs are kicking to the left of your radio dial. Thank you, Ollie, up at the back. All right, the final word, JJ, from the coaches for best sheds, Australian sheds at the lowest prices.
Well, it's always a battle of game style. Teams have differing game styles. Some game styles don't differ by much, but some differ a fair bit, and these two teams do play a lot differently. So it'll be about which team can get the game looking their way in the first 10 minutes. That's what the coaches are looking for, and that's what I'll be looking for. So the Dogs want to flick it around, possess the ball. Bontempelli is going to the first centre bounce, and the Bombers, I reckon they want to get some early uncontested marks and keep this game in check in terms of tempo.
Subs tonight, Bramble for the Dogs and Shield for the Bombers on AFL Nation for 4 and 20 Pies, and for Elders, here's Nick Butler.
Saturday night footy, and it's a good one. Dogs v Bombers, and Goldstein gets the first hit out down in front of Durham, who is falling forward and chucks it by hand up towards centre half forward. Kako there, couldn't quite take it. Now Hobbs, little release ball out in front of Dersmer. If it sits, he's a chance. It does sit. He centres it or has a go or a bit of both. And it's no score in the end. He was a little bit half pregnant there. Johannesson cuts it off, and the Dogs can take it deep defence. He marked it right on the line. Uses Sanders. Sanders still in the back pocket. Back to Johannesson now, who wants to kick. Just chips it out towards the half-back flank. Fraser was the target. Archie Roberts there for the Bombers. Can use Redmond by hand, and they're under a bit of pressure here. Setterfield back to Roberts. All by hand. All high pressure. Back to Setterfield on the right foot. Little chip is okay, and he finds a target in Martin. Marks right on 50, tight angle.
This guy's a player the Dogs are going to need to keep an eye on, because he can pop up anywhere. He's such a utility. He's got great running power. He plays on the wing. He gets back behind the ball. They set him up ahead of the footy and then bring him up at stoppage. He's a really dangerous player. Creates scores and gets scores of his own.
So, Martin from just outside 50 on the right foot. It's high. It's going to be close enough, but not a major. So a minor score to the Bombers. That is the first score of the game. And the Dogs can take it deep defence.
Dale plays on quickly to Bailey Williams, who gives it back to Dale, who kept on running. Has Kako in tow. Kicks to a bit of green grass out in front of Karmas, who read it nicely to Vandermeer. Back to Karmas. Had to go backwards this time to Dale. Inboard again to Williams. Half-back flank. They'll swing it inside defensive 50. O'Donnell dropped a sitter. Langford pounces on it. He's just got to be clean now. Needs a bit of room to work into. Umpire said holding the ball. And the Dogs, they'll get out of trouble. Bontempelli played on quickly to Sanders. Through the middle of the ground now to Vandermeer. Top edge of the square. There's no time. Goes to Sanders. Gives it back over the top to Vandermeer. Inside 50, the Dogs go. Can they get a mark? No, they can't. Breed. Too big, too strong. Did nicely. And he takes the mark on the last line of defence.
He relieves to Martin. There was a bit of talk Reid had a crook back during the week. He looked good then. No issues with that stretch.
Yeah, it was great positioning from him. The kick wasn't ideal. It was Harms out the back. The kick could have done Harms a bit more favour in terms of getting it high and long. But Reid, again, great defenders just play the percentages. He took the angle. He said, well, if it's a perfect kick, then so be it. And it wasn't a perfect kick, and he cut it off.
Setterfield's kick wasn't perfect either. Turnover in the middle of the ground. Bailey Dale for the Dogs up towards Norton. Had a couple of hands on it. Couldn't quite mark. The defence was strong again, but the Bulldogs have still got it. Comes back to Sanders at 50. Can set it up. Bontempelli there in a one-on-one. Did he grab it? No. Ball still alive. It's hot. The Bombers' defence need to be calm, and they are through McGrath, who kicks a long drop punt out of the danger zone. Merritt helps it over, and we'll have a throw-in half-forward for the Doggies.
There's Bontempelli just sneaking forward as well, so he's a big watch, isn't he? Anytime he gets in the front half of the ground, looks like he's going to come up at stoppage and get involved here, so he's just going to play forward half.
Very nearly took a one-hander there. English out of the ruck to Richards. Danger here. Runs inside 50. Lines up on the left. Gave it every chance. Minor score. One behind each, and we've played 3 minutes in the opening term for Host Plus.
It is Durham who's gone to Ed Richards, so that looks like the hard lockdown, and Setterfield's going to sort of play mid with Bontempelli when he comes up, and then play him as the defender when he goes forward.
Right from fullback. Comes near side in the Durham direction. Held off it by Richards. He'll get a free kick, Durham. Half back. Half back for the Bombers. Goes short. Finds Redmond. Bombers in no hurry. That'll be 50. It will be 50. It looked like Richards had encroached on the mark ever so slightly.
I reckon Libba was asked to stand, and then Richards was trying to take the spot for him.
Redmond bangs him inside 50. Right at the back. Couldn't take the mark. He gets a second crack at it. Now gave it off to Hobbs. Tied against the boundary line. And we'll get a boundary throw in. Right forward pocket. Bombers kicking to the right of your radio dial. One apiece. On the scoreboard for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Right. Throw in. Deep forward for the Bombers. Wright and big lob doing the ruck work. Wright gets a hand on it, but the Dogs have got it covered through Bailey Williams and now Kennedy, but it's high pressure stuff, and that has to be handball towards the boundary. Ooh, I was going to say, I don't know what the intent was there. From Matt Kennedy. Gets away with it. Another boundary throw in just inside 50 for the Bombers.
Seen some bizarre ones played against forwards inside their forward 50, whereas probably the part of the ground where no one wants it to go out.
Right again. Ball comes down to Roberts of the Bombers. Uses Langford. Quick little handball back to Merritt, and then Merritt's left footer was in the direction of Hobbs, but it was nicely cut off by the Bont, who's working well at both ends. So Bontempelli, deep defence, can use Sanders, and the Dogs will try to get something going here. Johannesson loves a run, runs into a bit of trouble, and then just kicks a high left footer, which works in the end to O'Donnell, and the Dogs can get out of the danger area.
Right half back. Comes back in board defensively. Bontempelli playing at both ends. Has to be clean. He was. Finds Libba in the heart of defensive 50. They play on by hands. Johannesson flicks it off to Cleary. Now they're out the Dogs. Dale through the middle of the ground. Takes one bounce. Now he'll launch them inside 50. Needs a mark from West. Oh, the spoil was really good there in the defence for the Bombers. Norton came bursting through. Reed picks it up from his toes. He couldn't take any more ground. He gets barreled up 20 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal. Their transition footy, JJ, is pretty good, the Dogs. Pretty exciting when they can get it and run, especially with Bailey Dale as a free kick's found. And it's going to go Libba's way inside attacking 50.
Yeah, he and Caldwell look like they're just going to go head-to-head, forehead-to-forehead at the contest, and they both love it. We know Libba's resume speaks for itself. It was a big win for Laverde. That was an opportunity missed. Bailey Dale's kick out the back was beautiful. Riley West, not the biggest, strongest guy in the world, but he's pretty strong for his size. He just couldn't get Laverde off him and get some separation. So back into the team tonight, a great little win one-on-one for Laverde.
Season high 35 disposals last week, and this isn't his best. In fact, that might be out in the full. It is. So on the left foot, Libba not able to add to the score. 1-1 apiece. One behind apiece, I should say, on the scoreboard for Host Plus.
Bombers trying to run it out through McGrath. He wanted Daywicks, who did everything but mark it, and now the Bombers working it by hand. Deep defence. Laverde's kick is okay. Finds Dersma. And Dersma's still in the back pocket. Drives a long one to centre wing, where he's got Goldstein, who's working hard, and he takes an early mark. Just backward of centre wing, close to the boundary line, Big Goldie. He's in no hurry here. Decides to go backwards. Still Laverde was a bit dicey. Showed a bit of it to Norton, and they're going to go by the cape here. The Bombers now back to Buckets. Mackay can use Redmond. And it's labour-intensive for very little ground at the moment. Back to Roberts. Now Redmond. They can try to get something running. Floaty handball to Merritt is okay. Merritt wants to get back onto the left foot and come into the middle of the ground and mucks it up. Kick smothered. McNeil might have got one too high. He did. Went low and hard, and the Dogs will take it on centre wing.
Couple of occasions, Merritt's tried to bring the ball back inside. One was cut off by Bontempelli. That one's smothered, but you need to encourage him to keep doing it because some of that ball use in the back 50 from Essendon is a little bit slow.
Neil to West, now Bontempelli, and that is a spear to Norton, who takes it on the chest, 35 out, tight angle.
Beautiful connection between midfielder and forward. As soon as Bontempelli turned onto that left foot, he didn't need to get back off his mark. He just took that little metre to the side of the man on the mark, who of course has to stand still. Norton had already put his foot in the ground, come up at the kick out. It was a beautiful kick and a beautiful little tick lead for Aaron Norton. This is an incredibly difficult kick for a left footer though.
So Norton on the left shoe and starts it left, and it doesn't really move at all, and sneaks in for a minor score. So 2 behind the Bulldogs, 1 behind Essendon, and we played 9 minutes in the opening term for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Redmond short to Caldwell. Deep inside defensive 50. He's got Day Wicks out on the wing, and that's the direction he goes. Again, the Bombers have got to here a couple of times and just slow played it. Wicks rolls around on the mark, launches it down, Nate long down the line, looking for Caddy, got up high, couldn't take the mark. Hawley's there, was he held off the footy? A whistle goes, where did it come from? I don't know. Nonetheless, he gets a free kick. Hawley wastes no time, goes to half forward. Langford got up high, nice mark, plays on to Merritt on the left boot, inside 50 they go, out the back. It was looking for Perkins. It was just a little hot for him, through for a minor score. So 2 behinds apiece. It's like a soccer scoreboard at the moment here at Marvel Stadium for Host Plus. That's a plus. Saturday night footy for 4 and 20 pies.
All quickly back into motion. Kick came from Kennedy, but that's cut off again by Laverty, who started well. Can use Big Reed, who sweeps a handball forward to Dersma, and then Dersma can chip on Hobbs. No good. Cut off by the Doc Davidson. Now Artie Jones. Now back to Davidson, and they're away here. The Dogs on the slingshot. Vandermeer forward to centre wing. Has a bounce. Can head up towards half forward. He's got a couple of targets. Buku Khamis was one of them. Kept his feet. Gives it to McNeil. Run down. Great defensive pressure by the Dons. Somehow not holding the ball. Unbelievable. Ball still alive. Being tracked by Richards. Now Jones. He's caught. Umpire says, give it to me. And the Bombers fans boo. What I would have thought was a run down holding the ball tackle, JJ.
Yeah, it looked pretty straightforward on the replay for McKee to rule the outdoors. Archie Roberts and Mason Redmond, 7 and 6 between them. Unsurprising.
Now snap by the Dogs is there. It's Bontempelli's got involved again, and now he's hit the scoreboard. The Dogs get the first. They're 1-2. The Bombers 2 behinds, and we've played 10 minutes in the opening term for Host Plus.
Plays the game at a different level occasionally. Marcus Bontempelli, he's able to get involved in so many different ways. It's such a difficult cover for whoever's with him. Setterfield has been with him in the first 10 to 12 minutes of the game and just got caught up in traffic there. Bontempelli, so clean, really? So clean. It was off the hand of Goldstein, so it wasn't a set play. There wasn't a lot of advantage from the hit out because it was from the opposition ruckman. Bontempelli just sharked it, understood where the big ruckman wanted to hit the ball in defensive 50, always wanting to hit it short and to his hip. Bontempelli went there, took it cleanly and kicked truly off his right boot. He is a star. He's had 5 disposals and an early goal, so he's running hot for Ream, Australia's favourite hot water.
Mr. Beatson's coming back into the lineup against the Saints.
Phenomenal.
Big numbers and still kicking a lot of goals as well as the free kick found. Defensive side of the centre circle to Durham.
Looks like he's peaking though. Jeez, on his toes.
He's red hot and ready to go as they come to the broadcast wing. Off hands. Harms not on the end of it. Gave it to English. Back to Harms through the middle of the ground. Got to be precise to Fraser. Was Dale coming off the back. Kicks to half forward. Roberts with the spoil. Out in front of Dersma now. Can he burn off Davidson? He can. Finds Hobbs. By hands. All on the outer side. Setterfield now. Stops and props. Come back inboard to Perkins. Loopy handball was nice to Caldwell. Just has to get past Harms. Good luck. And the umpire said he got the handball. The Dogs might bounce off half back. Giray. Bontempelli. Now Cleary. Wasn't his best kick out in front of Artie Jones. Had to find a little traction. Was able to do so, but the boundary line won out in the end. And I'll tell you what, JJ, that was a big moment. If that tackle doesn't get stuck, they're running into an open goal, the Bombers. Yeah, it's going their way at the moment, the Bulldogs.
It's quite obvious to us sitting up here, elevated. You can see the speed of ball that the Bulldogs are trying to implement, and successfully, I'll add as well, versus really methodical and quite slow ball use from Essendon.
Ball back in motion. Durham first hands on it, but he's wrapped up in a strong tackle by Richards, and we'll have a ball up just forward to centre for the Bombers.
I wonder whether Essendon have got another option to tag other than Durham. It takes a lot away from his offensive
best ball
game
these
as well,
days, isn't he?
Yeah.
Al Hawley wrapped up. Richards is tackling hard for a ball winner. Now Perkins grabs it for the Bombers, wants to come into the middle of the ground to Pryor. Now he runs into some trouble and coughs it up. McNeil there for the Dogs, and they're loading up the slingshot. Bailey Dale needs to get rid of it, does, out in front of Jones, but it's high pressure stuff. All quick by hand. Here's Bont. Here's trouble. Bont on the left foot needs to find a man in West and gets him in the forward pocket.
Even when it looks like he's going to make a mistake, he's so clean.
Yeah, he's so phenomenal. He's the complete package in terms of his balance. I don't know that there's a more balanced player in the competition. He's got unbelievable size and poise. He's got the toughness, and that ball was off his instep, but he was able to put it to a part of the ground that only Riley West could access
where he wanted it. Here comes West, skips in, kicks a goal. Dogs are starting to feel it, and Bont is different gravy at the moment. 2-2-14, the Dogs to a couple of behinds the Bombers, and we've played 14 minutes in the opening term for Host Plus.
You're not wrong. He does look like different gravies for Essendon. Fans listening, driving around Victoria after some local footy, you can breathe a sigh of relief. He's on the bench for a rest, because he has been unbelievable thus far. Already kicked a contender for goal of the day for Beaumont Tiles. Beaumont's for hybrid flooring set up that one. So it's red alert. I mean, you're starting already, I think, if you're Brad Scott, to reconsider your plan for Bontempelli, such has been his influence in the game. It's now the two backup ruckmen, so Buku Khamis up against Peter Wright. Peter Wright's got a few inches on Khamis, so you'd love to see a bit of an advantage here in the second rucks.
Hot start for the Dogs. They're running hot for Ream, Australia's favourite hot water. 14-2. In the middle, Khamis won that one down. Merritt took it from the middle, gave it to Caldwell. Loopy handball to Perkins, wasn't to his advantage, so had to let it go. Caldwell coming in hard and picking it up. He had Fraser, though, riding him. And he brings him to ground, and we get a ball up inside the centre square. Wright won that one in the path there of Durham. Found a way to get it out to Caldwell, to half forward now. Caddy leading up hard. He can wheel and go if he wants. He's probably too far out to score, so he just dumps it into the pocket. Wasn't to the advantage of Langford. There was two Dogs there. Probably wasn't his best delivery from Caddy. And they've probably gotten lucky in the end, JJ. This will be a boundary throw in left forward pocket.
The opportunity to build some pressure. They haven't had the ball in there forward 50 enough, so a couple of repeat entries, build pressure, potentially win a free kick.
So no one went for it in the end. Kako was there lurking around. He wins the footy now, gave it off. Here's Caldwell snapping around the body, dangerous position. Caddy can get up, but he was just pushed out under the footy there. The Dogs work it through Fraser. Now to Harms, still deep inside defensive 50. He'll just chip backwards to Williams, and the Dogs might be out of trouble on the outer side.
Cleary's got the footy and goes with the right foot. It's a bit of a dicey looking ball, but it's still alive. But there's a free kick, I reckon there is. It's free for the Bombers at half forward for a bit of pushing in a marking contest, so it's going to come back in. Pryor's got the footy, and he goes with the left foot now into the pocket. They fly. Al Hawley came from behind, but Harms did really well and took a strong intercept mark. Deep defence for the Dogs. Wants to go sideways to Davidson, and then Davidson can find Liberatore, and they've worked it out via foot. Now West, centre wing, can get going. Little left foot, scrubber's no good. That one's cut off by Ben Mackay, and the Bombers
go quick. That's it, Butts.
The Bombers will get going from half back. Roberts couldn't really take a handball, so we've got another turnover. Here's Norton to Geray. Geray at 50 goes long with a left footer. Some pushing and shoving, gets over the back, still a live ball. Vandermeer trying to keep it in front of himself. Can use Buku Karmas. Now McNeil, snap, goal, Dogs. They've got 3. And the Bombers are in all sorts early. 3-2, 20-2 behind. 18 minutes opening term. Host plus.
There's the coach coming out of me. Ben Mackay took intercept mark. It was a wayward kick. And his instinct was to, get back off the mark, go slowly. I think you've got to fight fire with fire in those situations. It was an intercept mark at true centre-half back on the back of the centre square. The golden opportunity to go forward.
So the ball's coming back here.
Ooh, not possibly another.
To Vandermeer.
Redmond must have given away another free kick here, which never like these being. Now this won't be a guaranteed goal, but it's not a difficult
Vandermeer,
shot.
it's a tight shot. 25 out, close to the boundary, certainly kickable. Comes round, snaps a goal. And it's a double banger if you don't mind. 4-2 to 2 behinds. And alarm bells going off in the Bombers coaching box now. 6 minutes to play opening term for Host Plus.
Well, that doesn't help. I'll get a look at it in a moment on the Makita Rule the Outdoors replay screen. Redmond looked the guilty party, so whether there was a little bit of action afterward, after Vandermeer might have just had a little something to say to Redmond, and he was the one who handballed it to Karma, so the screen goes away from the two, but Redmond and Vandermeer were left by themselves in the forward pocket, so not much else could have happened other than Redmond's giving him one in back play. So I've seen the replay.
Had him on his knees potentially.
It's disappointing for it to be almost out of shot, even on the replay.
Backhander.
Yeah, he's thrown an elbow. It's pretty careless. I don't think there's much more in it than that, but it's cost his team a goal, and they're 4 goals down. Essendon have got to come to play. They've got to get going.
It's not ideal if you're a Bombers fan, and then they go inside 50 again. The Dogs, look at that from Libba. Out in front of Norton, couldn't take the mark. McGrath gives to Pryor. They've got to find something here, the Bombers. A little spark. Dersma, outer side, goes down the wing. Not taken by Wright. Get a boundary throw in. There is a big crowd in here, JJ. There was 50,000 in the joint last time they played in round 6 of last year. We might not be too far off it.
I was going to say, there aren't that many, sort of a few spare seats on the outer side to us on level 2, but it's a pretty good crowd once again, and it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a throw from Fraser. Umpire didn't see it. Sanders.
Nice.
To Libba. Inboard. Beautiful ball out in front of Cleary. Trapped it nicely. Handed it off now to McNeil. Goes backwards to Harms. On the right boot. Inside 50. They need a mark. Oh, they get it. Vandermeer. What a dynamic footy team they are, the Dogs. They change the angles and they put the Bombers under enormous pressure, and this is a training drill at the moment.
He's really come along, this guy. I reckon he's benefited a fair bit from Cody Waitman's absence. Certainly Riley West is their number 1 small forward, but he's got something about him, this guy. He can get up the ground and get involved. He's got a little bit of bravado and brashness to him, and he's a crafty forward.
There's the drop punt this time, and he pushes it to the right. Can't finish the good work. But JJ, their run and their handball game and their changing of angles is absolutely torching the Bombers at the moment. They're too quick for them right now.
Yeah, they are, and they've been able to really zing the ball off half-back. Their kicking game, even that kick from Liberatore back through the middle, sets the game up for them, and they get a great look at, inside 50 from the back of that. So Essendon have been a bit too methodical with the way they've tried to move the ball quite slowly. 11-7, about to be 12-7 inside 50s.
Yeah, here's Libba again to Kennedy, and Kennedy's at 50 and can just sum up one of about 3 options. Good defence on that occasion by Redmond, but he spoils it pretty close to goal. McGrath's seen it over.
That looks like I reckon that might have come off his head.
And luckily
it has, but that's gone out the full, hasn't it?
Just bounced. It pitched just inside, just before it went.
Righto.
It was lucky.
Throw in. Floppy. Deep forward for the Dogs. Bombers hanging on for dear life here. Ball on the deck. Durham's going hard every time. Couldn't take that one cleanly. We'll have a repeat stoppage. Deep forward for the Bulldogs again. Lots of numbers around this footy. Nervous times for Essendon here. The Dogs feeling it. Goldstein knocks it down. No clear possession so far. Caldwell spinning out of a tackle. Ball comes free. Harms under a fair bit of pressure. Goes to Richards. Richards, a quick snap, is going to go close. Has Buku Khamis marked it on the line? He may have.
Didn't have an opponent.
They're going to have a look.
Did not have an opponent. Did he back out of the ruck, or was... Not sure where he came from, but he did not have a key defender within 5 or 10 metres of him. Ben Mackay was...
He's got a guilty look on his face. The umpire's going upstairs.
This is horrific if this is a mark, JJ.
I'm just not sure how it happens, because particularly as a key forward, and we know those matchups, that replay's not going to tell us
Giving us nothing.
Might need to go between the posts. Mr. Ark.
I reckon it's over. Not sure what the soft ball was.
Gee, I reckon it's close to a mark.
It's clean.
If it's clean, he's marked it.
Right in the margins.
You've got to be able to see the entirety of the footy. He's marked it.
Yeah, it's a mark. Right on the line, and it's going to be a banana kick job for Buku or a step round on the left.
He hammers it on his left, so he'll step around and kick this up into the third tier. The accuracy will be the only issue for him. Paul from Essendon. And a snapshot into their mindset in this first quarter, not where they need to be.
They are off. And the Dogs are on. They've got 4 on the board. Now, they've got 5. Buku hits the board, and it's 5-3, plays 2 behinds, and we played 25 minutes in the opening term for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Well, I mean, the coach's box can start to flip the magnets and move players around and change the way you want to play as much as they like, but mental errors like that are not going to help you win a game of footy. They're not going to help you get back in a game of footy either. So Khamis, I mean, I'm watching the replay right now, and I still can't help you work out who his opponent was. The Makita Rule the Outdoors replay screen doesn't tell me anything. It tells me that Khamis was able to back out of the contest and mark it unopposed on the line. But, I mean, the breakdown in communication and system from Essendon's key defenders there is amazing.
Been a really, really poor start here for them, JJ. This is the last thing they wanted. With a bit of confidence after last week as the ball will get recalled.
Worst bounce I've seen this year, I think.
Brad Scott's look in the box.
Well, because
said 5,000 words.
It's because he's powerless.
Yeah.
Because his team's not here to play. I mean, he can't. He can only get to them at quarter time and demand more.
Clearance goes the way of the Bombers. Stepping out of trouble was Durham. That was nice. From left to El Hooley. Out the front. Beautiful kick to right. He's too far out to score at the moment. Had Langford deep inside. Doesn't go there. He's a little bit of time here. He's just going to get it on the boot now. He'll wheel around into the pocket. And they get a mark. Merritt. That's not the target up against 3 Bulldogs. And again, JJ, it's just ridiculous footy as that one went out on the full. So the Dogs will get it on their last line. Cleary has it. Deep in the defensive goal square. Jam it in short to English. Back to Cleary. Bursts out a defensive 50. Wasn't his best kick, but found Sanders. Loopy handball over the top to Libba. He handballs into a bit of space. Richards tapped it on. Bombers might win it back here, and they do. Durham is getting busy. Perkins into the middle of the ground to Pryor. Wheeled around and got on the left to half forward. Nice kick in the end. So the wheel and go as Martin can load up from outside 50. Right to the target. He flies. Lobb got in there. Here's Merritt. Bounces on and on. Lobb did really well. He saved a goal as Merritt was about to snap. And a great smother. And it's just all going the Dogs' way at the moment. 5-3-33 the Dogs. 2 behinds on the scoreboard for Host Plus.
Good little moment, though, for Essendon. Good pressure. They stuck with it. They turned it over in their front half. So, good little win for them.
Still 3 minutes to play, and they've got a bit of territory. Perkins to El Hooley by hand. Under a fair bit of pressure. Can go back to Merritt, and then Merritt a little chipper is okay to Roberts. He's 60 metres out, though. So you'd think it'd be a set-up ball. Goes to the hot spot. A bit of a 3-on-3 job. Off hands. Langford there tries to take on a tackle. The tackle was pretty good. And he can't get through, and we'll have a ball up about 25 metres out from the Bombers' goal. Ball quickly back in motion. Knocked down. Durham first there. ridden into the ground by Bontempelli, and we'll have a repeat stoppage. You can't knock Durham's effort early.
No, he's the one who gets after it. That's why at times you feel he's a bit wasted as a tagger.
Right, down to Martin, who has a flying shot off the ground. It's not going to be a goal. It's a minor score, so a third behind for the Bombers. The Dogs are 5-3, and we've played 28 minutes in the first term for Host Plus.
Dale assesses his options and then goes wide to the pocket, broadcast side. Finds Sanders. I'd like the season he's put together in his second year, Riley Sanders. Cross goal to Kennedy. Sanders ran on and got it back off Kennedy now. Burns off Martin, and on the right boot, he's able to find English with a beautiful kick and set this up now for the Dogs. Out of side, he wasted no time, kicks long, looking for Harms. Harms kept his feet, Dersma went to ground. Half forward now, inside to Karmas. Couldn't take the mark. And Buku almost certainly would have had a goal there had he been able to corral that one. His opponent went to ground. He just dropped one that he should have taken. Still a minute and 50 seconds to play in this first term on the clock for New Tech, automation for manufacturing. Ball thrown in. Inside 50 now for the Dogs. Sanders at the back. Stopped and propped and found West, who wheeled around on a dime and kicked inside. Norton there. Ball at ground level now. Liberatore mulling around. Kennedy, 3 goals last week for him. Fires off a handball to English. Loopy handball over the top to Liberatore. They're so clean. Here's Richards pouncing on a goal. They are so good, the Bulldogs. Doesn't matter how tight it is, they find a way out. And Ed Richards is a class act. They get their 6th goal of the quarter. They are running riot. 6-3, 39 to 3 behinds on the scoreboard for Host Plus.
Just their system and their method around the ball is brilliant. Quick hands, they like to fire it around. We know they're a high possession team, particularly by handball around the contest. That ball was hacked inside forward 50, almost marked by Norton, I think it was, and then they just fight. They refuse to give up. Kennedy's hands, English to Ruckman involved. You can certainly see them practicing in that Monday to Friday, just that quick work, quick hands, pressure coming at them. Libba's hands were brilliant. Roberts was no match for Ed Richards trying to lay that tackle. Quick fend on the right boot.
It was the fend.
Through it goes. It was brilliant from Ed Richards, who was just emerging as a genuine... He's going to be overshadowed by Bontempelli, but I tell you what, he is the star.
It's a spanking at Marvel on a Saturday night. The Dogs on fire, 6-3 to 3 behinds. The Bombers still time, though, if they're good enough. For Dersma, a high, wonky moon ball. Sit under that. Who would want to? Fraser there for the Dogs. Couldn't quite take it. The Bombers might get it back, although they're fumbly and just no good. Here goes Kennedy through a bit of traffic to Fraser, just stepping through like they're witches' hats. Decides to head out wide, where he's got a dashing Dale, and the Dogs should go forward again. Dale wants to come back to Fraser and finds him. So Fraser, still in the middle of the ground, goes wider to Johannesson. And Johannesson can pump the Dogs deep forward. He heads into the pocket, almost to mark the Setterfield. Comes down to Harms. There a chance again. Back to Kennedy. A step, a snap. It's going to go close off the hands of Karmas. Might sit for English. Can he get his foot to it? Oh, they get a snap.
How clever.
How good was that?
They get a goal. And they're just on fire. It's Liberatore out of the paint.
That was insane.
And this is a spifflication now. It's getting embarrassing for the Bombers. 7-3 to 3 behinds for Host Plus.
Sorry, mate. Now, I tell you what, not because of what Libba did, but because of what Tim English did, that has to be a contender for goal of the day. Maybe even goal of the week for Beaumont Tiles. Beaumont's for hybrid flooring. So to describe it, the ball was about to go through. English was falling over, so he couldn't kick the footy. Fell on it, stopped it right on the line, and then legitimately tunnel-balled it through his legs. Dead set tunnel ball, straight back to Liberatore. Of course, the Essendon defenders hadn't scampered back to defend. Why would they? And Liberatore says, thanks for coming. From 2 metres out, there's another one.
7 unanswered goals. 45 plays 3 on the stroke.
Sharp upstairs from the big ruckman.
Yes.
Love it.
We spoke about that battle tonight. 15 seconds to play. Goldstein down. Clearance goes the way of the Dogs again. They couldn't, could they? Kennedy to half forward. Bontempelli can. He takes the mark. He's got to go quickly. He winds up inside 50. Norton nearly took it. Time still. Here's Richards stepping through. Here's West now. Taking in the tackle. He's got to get it to boot. Siren beats them. And what a quarter it was from the Western Bulldogs. 7 unanswered goals. 7-3, 45 to 3 behinds. They're stamping their authority on this game and on season 2025. Quarter time. It's the Dogs by 42 points. Saturday night footy.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Host Plus. Host Plus, winner of CanStar's Outstanding Value Super Award for the 8th year in a row. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TNT at hostplus.com.au.
At Azito, we know for you it's about leaving your mark. With over 100 tools for your home and garden, all powered by one battery to make it happen. Swing by your local Bunnings and add a brushless jet blower to your set. 36 volts of blowing power, powered by 2 18-volt batteries, all from only $1.99. Because when it comes to getting things done, do it yourself. Do it with Azito. Do you?
Get 100% comfy with OMF stock take sale. For 2 weeks only, buy any base, bed frame or bedroom item and get up to 55% off selected Australian design quality mattresses, like our Refresh mattress under $1,400, or our Mandalay Bay mattress, now under $2,000, and get up to 20% off selected bedroom furniture. This week only, buy any modern, family or signature mattress and receive 2 bonus pillows. Hurry, these offers won't last. End soon at OMF, the home of mattress, bedroom, bedding and furniture.
Through 100 years, New Farm has gone through thick and thin with Australian farmers. Through protection, through innovation, through growth. Also that Australian farmers are there for Australia. Because when you choose New Farm's crop protection solutions, you choose to support Australian jobs, Australian innovation, and a strong Australian supply chain. Through our partnership, we're tougher together. Visit newfarm.com.au. New Farm, Australian through and through.
Got a Mack, Volvo or Hino truck or anything in between and need parts? Get into Truckline with over 70,000 parts ready to go. We've got Japanese, North American and European trucks and trailers covered. And that means our expert team will have you back on the road in no time. So, whether it's a new rig or an old Warrior, Truckline has all the parts you need. Visit truckline.com.au for your nearest store.
Hey, it's Ariane Titmus. Australian Made Week is almost here, and it's your chance to go for green and gold. From the 19th to the 25th of May, get out there and support the home team by buying Australian Made. So, if you've got what it takes to be a champion, look for the famous green and gold kangaroo logo and get behind our makers and growers. Because Australian Made makes Australia. Visit australianmadeweek.com.au.
Living with diabetes? Ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre. Freestyle Libre is a small wearable sensor that monitors your glucose levels and trends and bangs them straight to your phone. Instant up-to-date feedback. No finger pricks. How good is that? And you can trial Freestyle Libre for only $15. Just head to freestylelibre.com.au to find out how. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use. Read warnings before purchase. Free yourself from finger pricks with Freestyle Libre.
Footy fans, why rush home after the game? Stay the night in the CBD at Brady Hotels and Apartments. Just minutes from Marvel Stadium and the MCG, as well as the city's best restaurants and bars. Rooms start from as little as $129, and with code SEN at checkout, you'll get 20% off our best flexible rate. So make the most of the 2025 footy season. Head to bradyhotels.com.au and book now with code SEN.
In footy, you've got one guarantee each week. It's not the win or loss. It's not the coach's spray. And it's not the cry of... It's the 4 and 20 pie. That classic taste of 100% Australian meat in delicious gravy wrapped in golden pastry. Like coming back to win from 10 goals down. Nothing beats the aroma and taste of a 4 and 20 pie. There's a win in every bite. 4 and 20, Australia's original fan food.
You're listening to AFL Nation for Elders. Open an Elders Rural Products prepayment account to win. And 4 and 20 pies. You can't have footy without a 4 and 20 pie.
Pies on the handball to English. Loopy handball over the top to Liberatore. They're so clean. Here's Richards pouncing on a goal. They are so good, the Bulldogs.
So a chance again, back to Kennedy. A step, a snap. It's going to go close off the hands of Karmas. Might sit for English. Can he get involved to it? Oh, they get a snap. How clever. How good was that? They get a goal. And they're just on fire. It's Liberatore out of the paint. And this is a spifflication now. It's getting embarrassing for the Bombers.
Macca's, I'm loving it moments. Macca's new Tennessee barbecue range, kicking flavour goals.
42-point quarter-time lead to the Western Bulldogs. Everything going their way, and they are stamping their authority on this one. 7-3-45 to 3 behinds. John Dono, Nick Butler and Josh Jenkins with you on Saturday Night Footy on AFL Nation for 4 and 20 Traveller and for Elders for Australian Agriculture. JJ, you're our expert for MEGT, Australia's apprenticeship experts. I'm not sure we expected that to start the game anyway.
We're hopeful. We know the Dogs are good, but we're hopeful Essendon we're going to be able to prove to us that they were up for the challenge, and clearly they are not. So the question marks on the form and who they've played are real. Now the question is, can they find a way to just slowly but surely get themselves back into the game? They've moved Roberts up to the wing. That's an interesting little move. He had 9 disposals behind the footy, but that was a bashing from the Dogs.
Here's Nick Butler to get us going in the second term on AFL Nation.
Righto, Dogs by 42. Bombers given a fair old rev up by Brad Scott at quarter time as they scramble for it at ground level, and it's taken by the Bulldogs again, all by hand. Back to Kennedy now, caught in a tackle, able to get rid of it, and they're going to go forward again. Bailey Dale gets the footy centre wing and kicks a dead set spear. Really good courage from a Bomber getting back. Might have been Mackay, did really well, saved the day there, and now the Bombers try to run it out of defence. Martin's handball, a bit loopy, back to Roberts, can come back to Laverty, and we're going to stop play because there's a dog down as well from that big collision.
Yeah, it was a big marking contest.
Might be Riley West.
Looks like Riley West is a powerhouse and a strong little fella. He's going to wave off the trainers and stay out there. So it must be sort of a knock to the stomach or...
Have a look now. Mackay's courage was bloodline. Really wore one from West. As play moves on, there's a good spoil. Ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in wing half forward for the Dogs. But
adjustments. Looks like Durham's still go to Liberatore. Ed Richards somehow is free at this contest.
Goldstein knocks it down. Libba couldn't quite take it. Roberts does, but gee, the Bulldogs tackling is really strong. Liberatore forces it forward. Back to English. A cute little kick for a ruckman. Wanted Vandermeer, who couldn't quite take it. Ball trickles out of bounds. And we'll have a throw in deep forward for the Doggies.
So, inside 50 now. Dogs have had all the run in this game thus far. Goldstein came over the top. He spoiled that one back towards the boundary. We'll get another boundary throw in, this time on the paint of 50. Dogs this quarter kicking to the right of your radio dial. A couple of big moments already in this game. Some crucial moments for New Farm. Australian through and through. None more so that moment on the goal line, JJ, from Tim English. Remember that one for a while. Libba got on the end of this. Hand in there from Redmond was good. So we'll get another boundary throw in, broadcast wing. Subs tonight. Dylan Shield for the Bombers. Lockie Bramble for the Bulldogs. So interesting to see when Brad Scott wants to pull the trigger. Probably not early in the second quarter, but if it keeps going like this, he might need a bit of run. There's Richards again unopposed on the left boot, inside 50. McGrath dropped a sitter. Bombers under pressure here, making everything look really hard as Roberts gave it off to Durham. Back to Setterfield. Pryor goes back. Dangerous position here for the Bombers. Reid looped the handball over to Roberts. He had to step inside. And again, that's a horrible handball. It lands now for Fraser. He can line him up. He won't make him pay as it skews off the side of the boot. Not sure what Archie Roberts was thinking with that handball. As the Bombers try and work their way out of defensive 50, they will. And Mackay gets it outer side, half-back flank.
Yeah, got the pass from Redmond. And then Mackay off a step to Kako. Hardly called him, the young man. Needs to try to get involved. But Kako takes a mark here. Just backwards of centre wing. To come back to McGrath. Gee, they appear to be mucking around with the ball a lot here, the Bombers, as we watch Jones limp off for the Dogs. We'll get back to that in a minute as the Bombers waxing the footy round. And now they've made hard work of that one. Missed a target. Ball goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in centre wing.
There's no run from the Bombers, JJ.
No, well, their immediate thought process is a sideways handball or sideways kick. They don't want to really take the game on just yet. I reckon Jones has done a hamstring. He looks pretty upset with himself as he goes down underneath to get assessed.
Throw in centre wing. Ball taken by Kennedy. Kicks a high one into the middle of the ground, and it's well marked by Sanders, who can give it back to Kennedy, who's racking up a bit of ball. Now Liberatore at centre half forward can head out towards the fat side. Ball's got a pitch on grass. Fraser grabs it, tries to use his wheels and does pretty well, although it's a good defensive tackle. Had to handball back in hope a little bit towards the end. Dre was his man, Johnny on the spot. He ran out of room, and we'll have a throw in the forward pocket for the Dogs.
Powerful group, the Dogs. Fraser just said, well, if you can take me down, good luck to you. And it was a pretty good tackle in the end, but still had the body strength to find a way to get the handball off. There's clear size advantage to some of these Dogs mids.
All back in the play. Libba grabbed it, headed deep forward up towards Buku Khamis. Couldn't quite take it. A quick exit kick by Reid's no good, and Jure's marked it on the intercept. So Jure at 60 is going to put the Dogs forward again. Can chip one into Johannesson, who marks at 48. And big Johannesson, he's not that big, but he's got a big leg. This is kickable for him.
I'm sure that kick went 15, but anyhow, it was lucky it wasn't 50 because Redmond really came in with a bit of a round arm and Johannesson down on the run.
He almost back him.
Yeah, half post high. Probably still gets it because of the stand rule. He can really take a couple of metres and kick it from the paint.
So Johannesson runs around. It's pretty nice connection. It just fades late. So a minor score for the Dogs. They'll move to 7-4. The Bombers 3 behind. 6 minute second term for Mate Internet and Mobile.
AFL Nation Saturday night footy for 4 and 20 Traveller. As McGrath bounds out of fullback. Again, just a lot of unsure footy from the Bombers at the moment. Setterfield to the outer side to Caddy. Then they just stop, JJ. Hold it up. Caddy down the line. This one's cut off by Jure. Dogs will bounce again. Wasn't his best kick to Dale. Can they put a bit of pressure on here? Lob. He's got heat. Coming from Merritt. He's able to release the handball to Kennedy. Libba. And half back on the left boot. Long down the line. 3 Dogs waiting for it. O'Donnell out in front now of Fraser. Had to go back to O'Donnell, who's got time and space. Kicks inside 50 now. They look for a target. 3 Bombers there. Should be out the back. All right, here we go. So West v Pryor. West with a big tackle. He mops it up. West snaps around the corner, and he's got another one. He did the dirty work, West, and he was rewarded for his troubles.
Peter Bazzusto
laid the big tackle on Pryor. Pryor let it go, bounced up, and finished beautifully. 2 now for Riley West, and the Dogs are running riot.
Love his game. I really love his game. I think his emergence has been really obvious. He's one of the better small forwards who can take a mark and do a little bit of everything in the competition, to be honest. Since Waitman's gone out of this team, he's been so good. That was just a strong AFL player, strong AFL forward, taking down a young player, just being far too big and far too powerful in the moment. Picked it up, said thanks for that, kicked his second, and then just reminded the young man of the difference in strength.
So, Dogs are snarling. Bombers are listless at the moment. This is one heck of a display, and they're going to work the ball forward again. Libber to Kennedy, and Kennedy on centre wing can go up towards Norton. Out of position, good mark Mackay, who hasn't been the worst. Takes a good intercept and then relieves on the right foot to Dersma.
Norton's the one who just can't get involved in the party. They've kicked 8 goals and he hasn't really had a sniff.
Dersma out aside to a leading caddy, who did well. Good presentation. It's one of his first involvements in the game. So caddy, it's slow and stodgy and just pretty ordinary work, and Bailey Williams cuts that one off, and that was light work for the Dogs' defence. So Williams at half-back. Runs round to the right and drives a long one back towards centre-half forward. It's a 2-on-2. Mackay's standing strong. Takes another intercept mark, and the Bombers will try to get something going.
Certainly will. Redmond comes back inside defensive 50 to Reid. But again, they're slow and they're stopped now. As Reid comes out to the broadcast wing towards the boundary to El Hooley.
It's that first kick. It's from Mackay. It's slow and it's high, and it gives the Dogs way too much time to reset their defence and not allow the switch to get round them.
El Hooley long down the line, but it's cut off by English.
Giving Goldie to run around a little bit. Goldie's just 5 metres away from each contest, and when you're a young buck, you can really sense the opportunity against an older player.
Dale probably took one too many steps. Artie Jones has been subbed out, JJ, so we'll get back to that as Bont jams one to Kennedy. Inside they go. Richards stuck 1 mid out like he was fielding a gully, reeled it in. They can do no wrong, the Dogs.
Well, we've potentially missed the kick of the year because the umpire deemed it didn't go 15 when it went 28. But Bontempelli, I'd love to see it again. If he meant that...
On the non-preferred, threw it on the boot.
If he meant that, that is just not fair.
Ed Richards, 35 metres out on a slide angle, should make no mistake, comes in on the left boot and jams it through. He's got 2. And the Dogs push out even further. They have 9 now before the Bombers have even got 1 goal on the board. 9-4-58 to 3 behinds. As we mentioned, a boundary update. Artie Jones is subbed out of the game and Lockie Bramble in after Jones did his hamstring. Incidentally, JJ, as well, that quarter-time score of 7-3-45 is the Western Bulldogs' highest first-quarter score versus Essendon since round 22, 2006.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you might need to go to the halftime record book shortly because we're 10 and a half minutes into the second quarter. Essendon have not looked like kicking a goal. Have not looked like it. They've got 3 behinds, but a couple of those were just hack kicks forward, and the Dogs are toying with them at the moment.
Yeah, the Bombers undoing a month of pretty solid work here.
Yeah, and the crowd's stunned. I think even the Dogs crowd is stunned because, well, this is amazing. We didn't necessarily come here expecting this. And the Essendon fans, well, they're shell-shocked.
Carmison right. Bontempelli overran the footy for once. Now Richards under a fair bit of pressure. Goes back to Dale. Every time they're in pressure, they just find their way out of it. Up towards Davidson. Had a fair bit of it. No mark. Back to Richards working hard. Back to Dale. A little false step and then a kick into the middle of the ground, which works just to Johannesson. So Johannesson can chip one into centre-half forward to Giray, and then Giray can wheel and go into the pocket towards the Flyers. Bont! Smack down a pack. Davidson gets the crumb. Kicks it back on the right foot up towards McNeil. It comes off a big, strong fist and gets rushed through for a minor score. Bombers probably take that at the moment. 9-5-59 to 3 behinds, and we're 12 minutes into the second term for Mate Internet and Mobile.
Just can't get anything going. Redmond, he tried to get Perkins. Sanders got a hand in there at half forward. Dale just threw that one out. Working around here nicely with Sanders. Over back to Dale. Now to Fraser. Another one lining up here. Here's McNeil for his second, and he just pushes it across to the left. So,
Josh, is this effort? I mean, it can't be a structure.
It's they can't tackle them. They can't move the ball against them. It's sort of seniors against under 17s at the moment. It looks like the Colts trying to run around with the seniors so that the seniors can feel better about themselves, and we're halfway there, so I might have missed the boat, but this has honestly got 100 points written all over it at the moment. Now, you'd expect at some point the Dogs will take their foot off the accelerator and maybe Essendon will get some junk time goals. But at the moment, I can't recall seeing a game this one-sided this year.
No, I mean, if it was a coach under pressure, you'd be almost calling for his head. He's very lucky as there is one of the biggest sack kicks I've ever seen from Laverty. Cut off by Harms. Harms can head into the pocket. Redmond needs to stand strong. Almost Mark didn't. Got a free kick, luckily. And the Bombers will just have a reprieve for a moment. Deep defence.
That doesn't help. So that kick from Redmond gets called to play on. It
goes to Roberts.
15, but
yeah, another short kick, no good. Cut off by Vandermeer. Can go to Bailey Dale, and Dale can have a fly from 50. Not going to be a goal, but it's going deep and strong. Bontempelli made himself useful. Couldn't quite take the mark.
It's a free kick against Bont, I think.
So the Dons will take it in their deepest of defence. And it's 60, plays 3. Here's Laverty.
Laverty, long and strong outer side of the ground, right, went through his hands, out the back to Langford, who feigned a handball and then was able to get a little bit of room. Chipped inside the centre square to Hobbs. This is a better build-up from the Bombers so far. Dersma on the broadcast wing. Where to now? He can go over the top, and that's what he does. Finds Martin. But again, this is where they've fallen apart. That's a beautiful kick from Martin onto the chest of Hobbs. Wright was waiting inside 50. He didn't go in that direction. He's probably just too far out to score. He kicked him from 53 or 54 metres, so he goes backwards and inboard. Roberts.
This is no good.
Centre square, this is no good at all. So now the Dogs have been able to get players back, and Roberts has gone too late inside. Looking for a target in Dersma. Ball off hands. Dale pounces on it. Harms now for the Dogs. They've scuppered the build-up from the Bombers. Laverty wins it back, though. Roberts handballs it off now to Redmond. Can go inboard, but again he stops, props, and goes backwards. Absolutely no fluent play here from the Bombers.
Bombers fans booing their own mob here.
McGrath out in front of Pryor, outer side. This is just hard to watch for the Bombers as he finds Durham. And again, just the slow play.
Just got to stick at it here. Just got to keep looking for uncontested marks.
Goes low inside. The other one is no. Dropped the mark, did right. Here's Kako. Handball back now. Durham. He might be able to spark them. Hands it off here to Langford. A flying shot at goal. Can they get one? Up goes Caddy. Couldn't take the mark, but is it taken by Dersma?
That's close to a mark from Dersma. He definitely bobbled it, but I think he's definitely taken that mark as far as I'm concerned.
Is it off Caddy's hands?
Well, they've paid the mark, so they can't go back and change that part of it. So
the score review.
It's either over the line or a mark, and from where I was sitting...
Did he bobble it, though, JJ?
He bobbled it, but I reckon he's still got the second bite before the line. I'm pretty confident this is a mark to Dersma and should give them an opportunity.
So they haven't called it here. I think they're going to call this a behind, JJ, or are they going up? No, they are going up to have a look.
I'm pretty confident he took that second bite well and truly before the line.
You might be right here, JJ. He's got control of it.
Yeah, that's the chest. Now, whether his teammate had hands on it is irrelevant, isn't it? Because we can't review that, but he has taken possession of that on the line.
So the Bombers need a stroke of luck.
So it's controlled. So it will be a mark. Boy, do they need this.
Yeah, they do. He's a pretty good mark for a winger. He's got good skills overhead. His younger brother Zane shows similar attributes, and as you said, they need it.
Did well to keep his composure with Caddy jumping in front of him as well, JJ. So he's right up next to the left point post. He's too far back if he's going to go around. He's going to have to run around the arc. And this just has to go through for the Bombers. Dersma does.
Well done.
They get one on the board finally. Bombers fans with something to cheer about. It's a long way back from here though. But Dersma hits the Bombers first of the night. Brings the margin back to 51 points. 9-8-60 the Dogs. 1-3-9. 17 minutes played in this second term on the scoreboard for Mate Internet and Mobile.
Yeah, it's needed. It could be the most obvious thing anyone's ever said, but it just gets them started. At least when you look up and you're running around and your heart rate's 175, at least you see one goal on the board. So it's a building block for them. I think Dersma's season has been really strong. He's building into his career at Essendon, has had some injury troubles. He's a prototypical wingman. Get forward, take an overhead mark, get back, help out, chop out. Basically run goal square to goal square on that side of the ground, and he's doing a good job.
Back in the middle. Dogs by 50. Kennedy first hands. Chopped off by Merritt. The Bombers might go forward again. Hobbs, a long one up towards the tall timber. Caddy in a one-on-one. The Dogs are getting back to spoil hard. It's O'Donnell, and he sees it across the line, and it's a pretty staunch defence in the end. We'll have a throw-in deep forward for the Bombers.
It's the part that I reckon they miss. So Caddy, probably never going to be the player who stands under that ball and wrestles and pushes people out of the way. You want that big focal point that they don't quite have.
Draper was probably playing that role for a while. Hobbs close to the boundary, a centering ball up towards Daywicks and Martin. Neither could quite take it. Liberatore, a quick kick out of the danger zone, but the Bombers seem to have it covered, although you wouldn't trust them tonight. Laverty, little chip is all right to Caldwell, and they look to be building something of a thrust here. Caldwell, still 70 from goal, runs round on the right and sets it up to the old-fashioned hot spot. The Flyers go at it. Liberatore calmly at ground level, uses a teammate, and then it ends up with Dale, and Dale can get it out of there quickly, do a 2-on-2. West used the body pretty hard, then went back and got it on ground level, and the Dogs are going to go again. Now they're in the middle of the ground. Here goes Libber. Arches the back, chips one into McNeil, and they've got it into the middle of the ground. McNeil did well enough to just hold up that run because they were away. That was a slingshot job. A little sideways kick to Giray. Now back to West on centre wing, and then West can head inside 50. It wasn't a bad-looking pass. It's a one-on-one. Kennedy used his body pretty well and then hit up towards Buku Khamis. It gets over the back. Redmond's there for the Bombers. Gee, they're indecisive. No one really looks confident at all. Laverty drops a mark and opens up some pressure for a few teammates. Good smother by Sanders, and the Dogs have locked it in again and forced a throw in the forward pocket.
So can they get Aaron Norton going? He's the one player on the ground who just hasn't been able to get going for the Dogs despite the entries. Only 3 disposals in the game. He's anything but running hot for Ream.
Ball at ground level. Bombers trying to just tow it forward. Daywicks picks it up. Hoops the handball over the top in the Hobbs direction. Was hot for him. There's Bramble. Cleary. Now to Sanders. So good by hands, the Dogs. On the non-preferred. Fraser up in the sky. It's a good mark taken there by Martin. Going back with the flight. Had Davidson coming in. And both had eyes for the footy. He'll win a 50-metre penalty. What a courageous mark that was from Martin. He's bounced up, plays on from the 50-metre penalty, drives them inside 50 again. El Hooley's got the run, lob too good.
Not the target, JJ El Hooley, surely.
Money for old Rope, that Rory lob. He was always the goalkeeper there, and again, you just don't quite have that focal point, that big aerial presence ahead of the footy.
Hill's getting off the chain as well tonight. Laverty infringed there on Harms. Dale's numbers if you have them handy, JJ.
Yeah, give me a moment. I'll tell you what, there's a handful of Dogs at the top of the list. Bailey Dale 20, if you don't mind.
Already. Davidson shunted off the footy by Redmond. Ball back at half-back now. Setterfield. Had to be quick. Daywicks was good. Laverty, all short 12-metre handballs, and now McGrath opens it up to the outer side and finds Wright. And the Bombers just holding it up again.
Another high, wide kick. So it looks good because McGrath shifts the angle, but because that ball goes so high and takes so long to get there, the Dogs just transition defensively and get across and turn it over.
There it is again. Bombers playing with very little conviction. Lob another easy intercept mark and come back to Bramble. Inside defensive 50, and now Bailey Dale. And they're just waxing the footy round. Now Harms. 3 or 4 nice foot passes in a row by the Dogs. And Harms up the line to a leading Bontempelli who had it, dropped it, goes back to Harms, and now it kind of works. Now Bailey Dale, possession 21, shrugs a tackle, gets onto the right foot. His kick's a bit dicey, and it's well cut off by Pryor, and now the Bombers can go off halfback. McGrath to Perkins. Perkins a little indecisive. Off to the dashing El Hooley, who goes high and wide to Langford. Lob got back and got a fist there. Langford was pretty good on the ground. Picks it up at 60. needs to make a good decision here. Comes back to the middle of the ground. It was okay to Martin at centre half forward. Martin sinks his slipper into it. He's got a couple of players out. Merritt's push forward. Can't hang on to that one. And the Dogs see it out again. We'll have a boundary throw and deep forward for Essendon.
Just no penetration on their kicks, JJ, when they go inside. Whereas the Dogs are low and flat.
They're kicking the ball inside 50 from halfway. You need to build it up, get it in the launch zone, which is 50 to 70 from goal, so you can either hit up a short leading target or really get it close to goal.
So this Hobbs throws it on the boot inside attacking 50. Dogs might work this out though. Richards was able to exit defensive 50 quickly. Ball in dispute. Davidson did well. Did he take the mark? He didn't. Just touches it on the ground. Now the Dogs are out through English. No one to kick to ahead though, so he's got to stop and prop. Sanders told him to go long, but he went back inboard to Davidson, put him under pressure. Sanders now got it back. Perkins.
That was quite clever from Sanders. He just took the tackle there and said, we'll just reset. That was really intelligent from a young player.
Ball thrown up, broadcast wing. English got one in the eye. Richards to Harms. Now to Richards again, close to the interchange gates. Drives them to half forward. Norton just can't take it cleanly tonight. That was off hands. Roberts on hands and knees. Libber. He burrows in there. Gives it to Sanders. Been good tonight. Shrugs off one tackle. Has to go backwards to Harms this time on the right boot. That is beautiful from Harms. Oh, Kennedy dropped it. Karmas mops it up. Snaps it around the body and it hits the post. Probably should have made more of that, the Doggies, but they still get a score on the board. 9-7-61 to 139. 24 gone. Second term.
McGrath dashes away with the kick-in duties and finds Langford, who pushed up to half-back. Once again, it's slow. No punch in this ball movement. He comes into the middle of the ground, Langford, and showed plenty of it to about 3 Dogs. Durham almost neutralised it. It's back in the scramble now, and now the Bombers have got it through Setterfield. He can go to Hobbs. Hobbs off to El Hooley, and El Hooley can send the Bombers up towards 50 where Goldstein's presented. Goldstein at 55. Wheels round on the left, goes deep, up towards 2-metre Peter. Hands on the first time, couldn't complete the mark, and now the Dogs through Cleary should be able to run it out. Ends up with Richards, and Richards gets a relieving lead to Bailey Williams, and now he can follow up. The old 1-2, he's at centre wing now, Richards. 1 bounce, 2, crosses the paint on centre wing. Long ball inside 50. He's got a leading Bontempelli, but he's not going to need him. He was dumped after the fact.
It might be Norton. This is the break Aaron Norton might need. He's going to get a downfield free kick. Difficult shot on goal, but I think they might have dropped the tag on Ed Richards. And look, if they haven't, whoever's doing the job is doing a bad job. He is roaming far and wide, and he was put down after he disposed of that footy. Not heaps in it, but enough to draw a downfield free kick. And
Setterfield, the infringer.
Norton gets a difficult look at it, but his best chance tonight.
From 45, tight angle.
Dropped it.
Got it. Needed a break. Gets his little lick of the ice cream. And they've all got full bellies, the Dogs. 10-7 to 1-3, 26 minutes into the second term for Mate Internet and Mobile.
That's all you need occasionally as a tall forward even when things are going really well for your team. If you're unable to get involved, you just need a stroke of luck. You just need something to go your way, and not a lot in the free kick downfield against Setterfield. But Aaron Norton, it's a freebie, and it was a nice finish too. His goal kicking has been an issue for him across the journey. He's got a bit of a hitch in his action, which I think can cause him to drop that footy down and make it turn over. That's why he hooks a fair few kicks, but he kicked that one beautifully. It was a nice punchy action, and all of a sudden he's involved too. So you can do no wrong, the Dogs. They are running hot for Ream continually, even in their second term.
Just under 2 minutes to go. They've got their 10th goal on the board. 10-7, 67 to 139. Inside 50 they go again. Here's Norton. He's got his tail up. Off hands. McNeil read it nicely. Davidson's in there. Reed under pressure. McGrath tight against the boundary line. Norton wins it back. He kept it in. Found McNeil tight against the boundary. Can he finish it nicely? McNeil can't. Just keeps it skinny. Nearly. Would have been a real nice finish from him, but they're 8th behind on the board.
It's Libba had, JJ, when you get a sec.
Libba's up to 16. Riley Sanders also 16, and Kennedy 15 for the Bombers. Archie Roberts has had 16, that's 17 disposals.
Yeah, Roberts with a long kick in, and it's okay to Dersma, who hasn't been the worst for the Bombers. Took a good contested mark just backward to centre wing and goes long up towards Langford in a one-on-one. He's presenting at least. He is Merritt. Tried to take on a tackle, forced the ball forward and then followed up. We're close to the boundary line. The Bombers making hard work of everything at the moment. Langford has another go. Dispossessed. Did he get a free kick? He might have.
Yeah, pretty clever from Langford not to take possession there. He knew he was about to be tackled, so let the footy go and won a free kick.
Kicks a dead set sack to the hot spot, and the Dogs have got it covered. Bontempelli now Kennedy, and Kennedy connects it defensive 50 to Davidson, and now they can get going again. Here's Johannisen on the dash. Has a bounce on centre wing, and he's got a couple of targets. Well played though, Dersma, who gets back for the Bombers and wins a contested ball, switches the play to Reid, and now the Bombers can get going.
Just a lot of floaters with their kicks tonight, JJ.
And they're so stationary. Even that's a pretty quick turnover. Johannisen kicks it long inside 50 to Fraser, and they go so slowly on the exit.
So again, they're back inside defensive 50. Redmond can launch it, but he just chooses the flatter option down the line. It's Caddy. Can they get a late one here? Redmond switches the angle through the middle of the ground to Roberts. He's got a runner coming past him, Dersman, but the siren goes. In the first half from hell for the Bombers. They trail by 59 points. And they've only put up 9 of those. 10-8-68, the Bulldogs. 1-3-9 at halftime. The Essendon Footy Club setting up for a spicy butts after dark tonight.
Well, look out.
Once this game is done. It's the Dogs by 59 points on Saturday night footy for 4-20 Traveller and for Elders for Australian Agriculture.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Mate Internet and Mobile. Save $180 over 6 months with Mate Internet. Use promo code MATE30 at checkout.
In footy, you've got one guarantee each week. It's not the win or loss. It's not the coach's spray. And it's not the cry of... It's the 4 and 20 pie. That classic taste of 100% Australian meat in delicious gravy wrapped in golden pastry. Like coming back to win from 10 goals down. Nothing beats the aroma and taste of a 4 and 20 pie. There's a win in every bite. 4 and 20, Australia's original fan food.
At Azito, we know for you it's about leaving your mark. It's a statement, making every task uniquely yours. Azito doesn't just have your back. We're right there with you, powering your DIY journey. With over 100 tools for your home and garden, all powered by one battery to make it happen. Because when it comes to getting things done, this is your moment. Do it yourself. Do it with Azito. Do you?
Need truck parts? Get expert service from the team that knows their stuff at Truckline. Whether you've got a Japanese, North American or European truck or trailer, we've got the parts to get you back on the road in no time. From hoses to transmissions and everything in between, we'll get you sorted fast. Truckline keeps Australia's trucks moving. Find your local store at truckline.com.au.
G'day, Murph Hughes here. New Farm's been there for Aussie growers for 100 years. Through prosperity and heartache, drought and flame. Through the unprecedented and through innovation. New Farm's high-quality crop protection products are formulated right here in Australia because Aussie growers are tougher together through choosing Australian. New Farm understands local conditions and the importance for Aussie growers to have the right products at the right time. New Farm, Australian through and through. To learn more, visit newfarm.com.au.
If I asked you to go outside now, grab a shovel and hack through your internet or water connection, would you do it? Of course not. It'd cost you a fortune to fix, plus being without internet or water for hours or days would drive you mad. Yet digging without searching before you dig online first is a gamble. Or worse, if you strike a gas or electricity main. Before every job, search before you dig online every time. and never dig blind.
Footy fans, why rush home after the game? Stay the night in the CBD at Brady Hotels and Apartments. Just minutes from Marvel Stadium and the MCG, as well as the city's best restaurants and bars. Rooms start from as little as $129, and with code SEN at checkout, you'll get 20% off our best flexible rate. So make the most of the 2025 footy season. Head to bradyhotels.com.au and book now with code SEN.
This ad is about neighbours Ryan and Jack. Ryan's home's been affected by recent damp weather, with mould appearing all over his walls and ceiling. Meanwhile, Jack is relaxing in a mould-free home. That's because Jack installed a Panasonic air conditioner with 24-hour Nano EX air purification and mould-inhibiting technology. Jack's Panasonic air conditioner means he enjoys clean, fresh air in a mould-free environment. And you can too. Search for Panasonic Air online to request a free quote today.
Get 100% comfy with OMF stock take sale. For 2 weeks only, buy any base, bed frame or bedroom item and get up to 55% off selected Australian design quality mattresses, like our Refresh mattress under $1,400, or our Mandalay Bay mattress now under $2,000, and get up to 20% off selected bedroom furniture. This week only, buy any modern, family or signature mattress and receive 2 bonus pillows. Hurry, these offers won't last. End soon at OMF, the home of mattress, bedroom, bedding and furniture.
You're listening to AFL Nation for Elders. Open an Elders Rural Products prepayment account to win. And 4 and 20 pies. You can't have footy without a 4 and 20 pie.
Out the front now of Fraser. Had to go back to O'Donnell, who's got time and space. Kicks inside 50 now. They look for a target. 3 Bombers there. Should be out the back. All right, here we go. So West v Pryor. West with a big tackle. He mops it up. West snaps around the corner, and he's got another one. Oh, he's right up next to the left point post. Run around the arc. He just has to go through for the Bombers. Dersma does. Well done. They get one on the board, finally. Bombers fans with something to cheer about. It's a long way back from here, though.
Macca's, I'm loving it moments. Macca's new Tennessee barbecue range, kicking flavour goals.
It's been all the Bulldogs in the first half, 10-8-68 to 1-3-9 on AFL Nation. Saturday night footy, John Donohoe, Nick Butler and Josh Jenkins with you. This is the halftime floor show for Choices Flooring, stylish and trendy.
The Choices Flooring halftime floor show. Spaces for living. Live bold. Step bold sale on now.
Before we get into it, JJ, a couple of goal kickers from this game. Riley West has got 2, Ed Richards has got 2, and then singles to Bont, Libba, Latham Vandermeer, Buku Karmas, Lockie McNeil and Aaron Norton. And the only goal for the Bombers in the first half went the way of Xavier Dersma. It's Super Saturday on AFL Nation for Toyota. Become a club legend by helping your local club fundraise through Toyota's Good for Footy raffle. Before we get into all these, JJ, your thoughts? I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum, how good the Dogs were and how bad the Bombers were, but your overall observations from that first half?
I think it's a good starting point is always, or I think it's always a combination of the two, but which reason is more prevalent in terms of the result or where the game is at. And I think it's more about the Dogs. The Dogs have been so impressive. You know, Essendon's method and system's been a little bit dull and boring, and that was the big question coming into the game. Would a sideways, high uncontested marking game style stack up? It hasn't, but the Dogs are so sharp around the ball with their hands. They can just go 1, 2, 3, 4 by hand, and then they're out. They've got strong players around the footy. You know, Fraser, Liberatore, Kennedy, Bontempelli, Richards, all very hard to tackle. You can see Sanders starting to emerge in that part of the game as well. He's a difficult player to tackle. They're always in control of the situation, even when being tackled, and they've been so dangerous going forward. So have loved what the Dogs have been able to do in the first half. Bailey Dale off half back with his 20 disposals, but all the midfielders have had a fill up.
I know it's only half a footy, and I guess you saw them, as did I, last week against the Gold Coast Suns. They went down in that game, but I mean, are you a believer in the Gold Coast in the Western Bulldogs? Can the Western Bulldogs go deep into September from what you've seen?
Oh, I mean, there's so much runway left.
Yeah, I know it's a tough question to answer.
Health is the most important part. get 6 injuries between now and then, and they've got no chance. But the best version of the Dogs looks pretty damn good. Looks as good as we've seen, really. Collingwood's best looks really good. I still think Brisbane are the benchmark, and I base that off basically 2 and a bit years of footy now. Brisbane's best is incredibly good, but the Dogs play a game style that can really overwhelm you, and that's what we've seen tonight. They've overwhelmed Essendon. So, Brad Scott's a super intelligent coach. He would have really had his players understanding that, look, we've played some good footy over the past month, but this is another challenge. This is the next level of competition for us, and we need to prove to ourselves and to our fans and to the wider football community that we are at this level. Now, they are not tonight. Would they be next week if they got stung in the tail and had to come up against the Dogs next week? I wouldn't expect it to be, 68 to 9 at half time, but you don't get next week against the same opposition. You've got to front up when you've got them on the schedule, and the Bombers haven't been able to do it. So all credit the Western Bulldogs.
Undoing what was a pretty good win from them last week against the Swans, but I'm not sure if it tells us more about the Swans and when they're at, or how the Bombers went. They're up against a very good opponent tonight. Who's been the toughest player of the first half for Truckline? Keep your truck on the move with Truckline.
Give some credit. Now, it'll be hard to squeeze the Bombers in. Nick Martin going back with a flight in that second quarter. That was a very, very tough act. Sometimes we are, trying to encourage players to make good decisions and safe decisions, but that was a moment in the game where he just had to do it, and he did it, and it was a very, very tough moment for him.
You don't want to see moments like that go from the game. I know we're trying to protect players, but that was just two guys just going genuinely for the footy in a contest.
Yeah, well, he would have had to actively avoid a collision to get out of it, and sometimes, as you said, we're just going to have players in vulnerable positions. So credit to him, kept his eyes on the footy, took the mark, won himself a 50. So well done, Nick Martin.
What was your unmissable moment for Drinkwise? You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
The Tim English tunnel ball. I mean, I just don't recall seeing that too often. And you add the fact in, it's a ruckman, and the rucks often get ridiculed for not necessarily being able to think quickly, and he wasn't able to think quick on his feet. He was on his hands and knees. So remarkably smart piece of play from him, and a great finish from Libba.
Absolutely. The crucial moment of the first half for New Farm Australian through and through. Can I offer up a suggestion of what the crucial moment was?
More than welcome.
Latham Vandermeer getting a free hit.
2 for the price of 1. I guess in 60 seconds we went from 2 goals to 0 to 4 goals to 0. So, that's a pretty good separation in terms of the scoreboard. So, it was a big moment. I mean, I am a subscriber to those free kicks being taken from the centre of the ground, because 2 goals in one passage of play is a harsh penalty.
Change the game so quickly. Who's making it look easy, JJ? For Incitec Pivot, enhance productivity with IPF Easy Liquids. Incitec Pivot, quality assured nutrient guarantee.
Well, you can take your pick of Bailey Dale off half back. He's on 423 metres gained. Now, I believe we had the world record for metres gained
Thursday night,
John
Noble, 1,001.
Yeah, a kilometre. Unbelievable. So Bailey Dale's not too far off being on pace for that. He's on pace for about 850 at the moment. Riley Sanders has been sensational, 16. Libba's made the game look easy, 16 and a goal. Matt Kennedy, 15. So almost every dog on the ground, except for poor old Artie Jones, who's gone off with an injury. So his 22 teammates have all made the game look pretty darn easy.
Absolutely. The breakout player of the first half for Australian Outdoor Living, bringing backyard dreams to life.
Again, I'll give it to, he's well and truly broken out, but Ed Richards as a midfielder, 11 disposals, kicked a couple of goals. He just looks a supremely confident player. I was keen to see how he would play and how he would respond, and what his body language would be with a hard tag, and that hard tag arrived early, but they've had to drop that because of the scoreboard. So he is just continuing to break out as one of the stars of the competition.
Certainly is. Let's go around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Chemist Warehouse fragrance sale on now. Super Saturday. What a game it was at the MCG. It was the Pies by 10 points, 78 to 68. Freo bouncing back, JJ, in a big way. 34-point win over the Giants. I can't get a read on the Giants. They should be better than they are. We'll get a word from you in a moment on that. And then Port Adelaide got belted by Geelong to the tune of 76 points. Your thoughts on those?
I just think there are a lot of teams who are just not great.
Yeah.
They're okay, and they're good on their day, but I just think there's a lot of really even teams.
I think there's about 6 that are probably out in front of everyone else. That can,
I reckon less.
You reckon 4, 3?
I reckon Brisbane no doubt. Collingwood no doubt. I think this mob, the Dogs, are very, very quickly ascending into that conversation.
Yeah.
So that's 3. I've got the Gold Coast ahead of the pack.
Okay.
Maybe they're closer to the pack than they are the leading handful of teams. But, yeah, I reckon there's only 4, maybe 5, and then there's a big clump of teams who, look, when they play well, good things happen, and, you know, Geelong are in that mix as well. When they, look, Port are in that mix, to be honest. They're at the bottom end of that mix, but some of their best footy's been pretty good. I was almost ready to turn the corner on them, and then, you know, they've had some horrific losses this year, so they'll be having a big week on Talkback and in the papers over in Adelaide this week.
Yeah, the Giants are certainly underperforming. I reckon they'll be disappointed. Let's fire through these, JJ. Have you got the power play rankings in front of you for Red Energy? Red Energy, 100% Australian-owned, celebrating Australian-made week. Switch to Red Energy.
Yes, Bailey Dale leads all comers on the ground with 63 and Libba 61.
The Flexalt player that we could see move in the second half. Flexalt, the only flexible oral lice treatment for sheep.
Now they've had to use their sub, but I'd be pretty flexible with what I do with Bontempelli.
Yeah.
And spend a fair bit of time forward and maybe even spend a fair bit of time on the bench as this game gets, look, it's already in hand, but, you know, certainly in the last quarter, you know, start him on the bench, give him an extra rotation, I reckon.
Absolutely. Let's give the tackle of the first half of Bar Crusher Boats, Australia's ultimate fishing weapon, to Riley West down here. Tackled Pryor in the goal square, followed up, got his own goal as well. The subs for Koteva, Agriscience, the future of agriculture. Jones subbed off with a hamstring injury. Bramble on the field, and the Bombers yet to use Dylan Shield. That was the Choices Flooring halftime floor show. Spaces for living. Live bold, step bold. Sail on now as we go to the break. Let's hear the goal of the first half of Beaumont Tiles. New flooring at Beaumont's laminate, engineered, and timber and hybrid.
The goal of the day for Beaumont Tiles. New flooring at Beaumont's. Laminate, engineered timber and hybrid.
Eyes on the handball to English. Loopy handball over the top to Liberatore. They're so clean. Here's Richards pouncing on a goal. They are so good, the Bulldogs.
You're listening to AFL Nation for Elders. Open an Elders Rural Products prepayment account to win. And 4 and 20 pies. You can't have footy without a 4 and 20 pie. Macca's new Tennessee barbecue burgers are now touring for a limited time. With smoky barbecue and tangy honey mustard sauce, crispy onions, and 100% Aussie beef. Grab the hit single or double Tennessee barbecue burger today. Available after 10:30am.
At Azito, we know for you it's about leaving your mark. With over 100 tools for your home and garden, all powered by one battery to make it happen. Swing by your local Bunnings and add a brushless jet blower to your set. 36 volts of blowing power, powered by 2 18-volt batteries, all from only $1.99. Because when it comes to getting things done, do it yourself. Do it with Azito. Do you?
Got a Mack, Volvo or Hino truck or anything in between and need parts? Get into Truckline with over 70,000 parts ready to go. We've got Japanese, North American and European trucks and trailers covered. And that means our expert team will have you back on the road in no time. So, whether it's a new rig or an old Warrior, Truckline has all the parts you need. Visit truckline.com.au for your nearest store.
If I asked you to go outside now, grab a shovel and hack through your internet or water connection, would you do it? Of course not. It'd cost you a fortune to fix, plus being without internet or water for hours or days would drive you mad. Yet digging without searching before you dig online first is a gamble. Or worse, if you strike a gas or electricity main. Before every job, search before you dig online every time. And never dig blind.
DIYers, if you're looking to tackle your next residential home irrigation project, speak to Nutrien Water about their free home irrigation design and quote service. Designs are carried out by an experienced team of home irrigation specialists using professional grade components. Simply download the free planner, then submit your details. They'll then get back to you with a detailed quote for you to consider. To get started, go to nutrienwaterstore.com.au.
Jane loves flowers, but her allergies don't. Bless you. So it's lucky that Jane can now enjoy the benefits of Panasonic air conditioning. With its allergen-inhibiting Nano EX technology, Jane's now floating in the freshness of pollen-free, clean air. Come home to your perfect environment. Search Panasonic Air to request a free quote. Results from Nano EX are not instant, and Nano EX is not available on all models.
This weekend, don't just take a punt, bet with confidence thanks to Tipper. They're flipping tipping on its head by turning you into an expert tipster. It's so easy. Just make your free account so punters can follow you, submit your tips whenever you're ready, and if your tip pays off, you'll earn a payout. Tipper, the tipping marketplace. Download the Tipper app. That's TIPR. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Footy fans, why rush home after the game? Stay the night in the CBD at Brady Hotels and Apartments. Just minutes from Marvel Stadium and the MCG, as well as the city's best restaurants and bars. Rooms start from as little as $129, and with code SEN at checkout, you'll get 20% off our best flexible rate. So make the most of the 2025 footy season. Head to bradyhotels.com.au and book now with code SEN.
Living with diabetes? Ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre, the wearable sensor that monitors glucose levels straight to your phone. Trial it now for only $15 at freestylelibre.com.au. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use.
You're listening to AFL Nation for Elders. Open an Elders Rural Products prepayment account to win. And 4 and 20 pies. You can't have footy without a 4 and 20 pie.
59, third quarter underway is Nick Butler to get us going.
Dylan Shield on the ground. Al Hooley subbed off. Bombers need to show something. Bontempelli, first foray forward for the Dogs. Long ball, almost crumbed by West. Now it comes back to Bailey Williams by hand. Good strong pressure by the Bombers to start this, but it comes back to Davidson now, who can head back to the hot spot. Just entry after entry. West under ground level applying some pressure for the Dogs. Still a ball in dispute. Gets slapped back to Kennedy. Backtracking to 50. Back to Richards by hand. Oh, back to Kennedy. Set up beautifully by Bontempelli. Can waltz into goal and miss. Too much let off there. Minor score. 69 plays 9, and we've played 30 seconds in the third term.
So can the Bombers get the first on the board? Reed goes long to the outer side. Goldstein dropped the mark. Fraser pounced on it, gave it to Bont. And the new generation linking up. Back to Fraser. Wheels around, goes inside 50, cut off. Going back by Pryor. Again, Bombers stagnant.
Yeah, you'd imagine they'd be talking about moving the ball a lot quicker, particularly on turnover, but not on that occasion.
Surely it's rip or bust now, JJ, isn't it?
The wing.
Go down by 100 if you have to.
Got a little bit of run here as Durham was taken without the footy. Ball in dispute outer side of Marvel Stadium. Coming out there was Libber. Found West. Now O'Donnell. Wheels around on the right boot. Kicks high up and under to half forward. Reed spoils out in front of Davidson. He's been all right. Over the line, and we'll get a boundary throw in. Early stages, final term this quarter for Deutzfahr Tractors. And 4 and 20 sausage roll brings you the coverage tonight on AFL Nation.
Righto, throw in. Half forward for the Dogs. English and Goldstein. Give that one to Goldstein. Knocks it towards the line where it's picked up by Roberts, and he heads up the line and finds a leading Peter Wright. He wheels and goes. This is a bit better. Quicker entry up towards Caddy. Gave a bit of a shove but got away with it. Took the mark and quickly played on. He's got Martin out in space. Martin kicks a goal. And there you go. There's something to build on at least. The Bombers get number 2. They're 2-3. Trailing 10-9, and we play 2 minutes in the third term for Deutz Bar Tractors.
Just a bit of contest win, that's all it was from Caddy. Willing to take the contest quickly as well, so stoppage at half back and just a willingness from Wright, who hit up. He was the closest key forward to the contest. He hit up, took a nice mark on the lead and just wheeled. So showed the intent we'd been looking for. Good mark from Caddy. First one-on-one I've seen him in for the game, and Nick Martin, as the fat side, is playing high half forward, maybe even on the wing there. He's able to get forward hard. He's going to line up inside forward 50 at this centre bounce, but he's a hard runner, always looking for an opportunity to get forward when he's playing in the wing, just like an Ollie Dempsey, who I think kicked 2 goals free from the wing again today.
So the Bombers will be looking for from Caddy as Bontempelli storms out of the middle. Duff the kick a little bit. McNeil was up to the task. Now to Liberatore, just outside 50, top of the goal square. Wrestle is on. West did well. Lands for Davidson. Can he get boot to ball? No. Reed played a strong tackle. McGrath was being held without it. He goes on with it now. He gets the advantage and gets him to the outer side. Kako, haven't called his name much tonight. He's far from goal. He's up at half back. Goes to the wing. Beautiful kick. Goldstein, bit of movement on the footy now. Setterfield, inside 50 or just to the edge now. Here's Langford, passes the paint. Inside they go. Here's Caddy. Up he goes. Drops a mark as the spoil came from O'Donnell. He fell at the last hurdle there, the Bombers. Bontempelli up to the front of Joe Hannison, who takes a bounce on the outer side and now laces out Vandermeer. The Bombers might rue that missed opportunity.
So Vandermeer still 80 from goal. Close to the boundary, outer side of the ground. Takes on the man on the mark, has a bounce, and then kicks it in towards the pocket. Norton had a fair bit of it. Came down to Davidson ground level. He was tackled strongly. Ball still alive. Richards has a go at it. Reed's there for the Bombers. Still on hands and knees. It comes back to Davidson. Gets the goal in the end. Too easy for the Doc. And gee, they're all at sea, the Bombers. They cannot take a trick. And the mature age recruit gets one on the board. 11-9 to 2-3. 5 minutes into the third term for Deutz Far Tractors.
Certainly kicked one about 3 times in this quarter already, JJ.
Just a different level of physicality. I mean, he was the last dog in the chain. It was a nice spoil at half-back from James O'Donnell. His game continues to evolve, but Riley West is a powerful unit. I'm going to handball it to Davidson, who, so what, he shows more size and athletic prowess than you give him credit for. He's a good size. He's got long arms. He's pretty rangy. He's sort of playing as a hybrid forward, and a bit of a target forward alongside Norton and Karmas at the moment, with all these Dogs tall forwards out of the team.
So the Bombers get the first of the quarter, and then the Dogs respond quickly. Margin back to 60 points. Setterfield taking a strong tackle from Kennedy. A bit of ball up.
Very inconsistent with the blocking. Free kicks in the ruck.
Right up.
Let him go.
There's Richards bursting out a stoppage on the left boot. That is precise and beautiful from Ed Richards.
Hard to drop that one if you're Aaron Norton. That was a bullet. That was a dart. That hit him right in the chest, right in the sternum. All he had to do was wrap it up on the chest. That's why Richards is such a difference maker around the ball, because he runs at the game and he kicks the ball beautifully, even when under some pressure.
So Norton's already got one tonight from 40 metres out on the left boot. He just dabbed at that one, and again off to the left. You've got to make the most of those. Sort of deserved.
He's almost, I don't play golf, but he's almost like a golfer with a little hitch.
Yeah.
He's just got that little sort of twitch in his action that just offsets his kick.
Big Reed, the man with the kick-in duties. I haven't seen that too many times. He's about 205 centimetres.
Tallest kick-in man in the comp.
That's modern footy for you. Dersma. Down the line, up towards Caddy, who's trying. O'Donnell's just an improving player and pretty hard to get a kick on at the moment. Neutralises that one in the air, and we'll have a throw-in on centre wing.
Taylor Dury's just a little bit sore, but he's making his way back to this contest.
And the Bombers show a bit of spunk here. Richards takes it out of the air, feeds one to Liberatore, who has a bit of a dance step, and then a worm burner to Duray. All under pressure, but it just comes back to the Dogs, and they can take a bit of time. Bailey Dale retreating back to O'Donnell on the left foot. Can come back to English, and that's just too easy. English now.
Still half-back. Goes down the line where he's got Richards out. And Richards out spells trouble. Sinks his left foot into it. Heads up towards Karmas and Co. It gets over the back. Might be a free kick to the Bombers. Mackay appealed for one and he's going to get it.
He's really had the better of Norton, hasn't he? I mean, there's nothing you could do about that last kick from Richards, but in the one-on-ones, Ben Mackay's had Norton's measure, so a bit of a win there for the Bombers.
That was a poor kick coming out by Reid, taken by Duray, can go to Bailey Dale, who's waved on. Doesn't know it, but he has to get rid of it pretty quick. A little chipper on the right foot, no good. Cut off by Dersma of the Bombers. And Dersma's got one in the shin, I reckon, there. A bit of a shin-on-shin job. Goes off to Redmond by hand, and then Redmond can find Hobbs. So the Bombers, as they've done all night, it's been slow and stodgy off half-back. And there's no speed on the ball on this occasion once again. Hobbs, half-back, comes inboard to Redmond by foot, and it's okay. And then Redmond can go all the way back to Mackay, and the Bombers fans are going to start booing here unless they go forward in a hurry. That kick is no good. Cut off right in the middle of the ground. Turnover. Davidson has got men everywhere, and Norton marks it unopposed. Only 30 metres out. No angle to speak of. Can give it to Kennedy. Kennedy waltzes in. It's a training drill. The Bombers are fly blown, and the Dogs are powerful. It's an absolute smashing, of which we haven't really seen this year.
Yeah, wrong player trying to make that kick back inside. It was Ben Mackay, but it's on the other Essendon defenders. Now Mackay's the deepest defender. Redmond kicks it back to him because he's free 20 metres in space. Well, guess what, Mason? I'll tell you why he's free, because he's not in a dangerous position. The Dogs are not going to guard him there because he's so far from goal. He's so far from being dangerous. They're going to allow him to have that ball. He feels, Mackay feels the need to try and force one back inside on the 45. Turns it over. 3 Dogs in the area, and he pays close enough to the ultimate price, and that's what Brad's got to be saying.
He's going bunter in the box.
It's not about Mackay's turnover. Redmond shouldn't be kicking it back to him because he's like the basketball player in space in the corner that can't shoot. You're open for a reason. It's because you can't shoot.
For Deutz Far Tractors, 12-10-82 to 2-3-15, 10 minutes third term.
Pelly gets the clearance, found Williams out of side, now to Dale, who's running hot for Ream.
28.
Shizzle's one just short to Davidson.
Dale is on target for 40 plus.
Davidson to half forward. Karmas strong in the contest. Took a mark with Mackay bearing down on him. He's 53 from goal.
He's got the trip here. He's pretty powerful.
Okay. Well, Dale certainly does. We know that. He's gone further away from goal, though. Is here to step around Martin. If he gets a bit of space here, Dale, he could load up. He wanted it as well. Bontempelli coming out, snapping around the body. Oh, he's the best in the game.
Oh, my goodness.
Big, bad, beautiful Bont.
Beautiful.
What a finish from the man. Oh, wow. You just marvel at what he can do. It was a scrubby kick from Dale. He tracked it nicely and threw it on the left boot. And what a finish from Bont.
His balance, I tell you, it has to be seen probably live to be appreciated. The kick from Dale. Now, that is an incredibly difficult ground ball from Bontempelli.
Off his toes.
Incredible. And the ball's moving at such speed. He picks it up, turns. He's physically being tackled, kicks it 35 metres around the corner. It's hard to appreciate how good that is.
On with his second, 13-10-88, 2-3-15 for Deutz Far Tractors.
You know, it reminded me a little bit of Gary Ablett Senior. He was able to do that stuff.
Yeah.
As long as he takes his kick, but it won't worry the champion.
Junior could do a little bit of that too, just quietly. He won't be happy if he's listening and you've mentioned his dad, but not him. He could do it.
Yeah, he probably could. We're talking top 0.5% of all time that can do that sort of stuff. Righto, the Bombers go forward, but with no real conviction again. It's cut off by Johannesson at halfback. And they should just all fill their confidence boots here, the Dogs.
Are we on 3 figures watch, or?
Come out sideways towards Harms, and now Bramble. And Bramble dashes away, and he's looking like an A-grade player all of a sudden. Back to Harms. And Harms can work one back to Johannesson, and they're just looking for a lane to work with. Young Cleary's got it now. Still defensive 50. And it's a slower play this time. On to Sanders. Wave to go on. Little 1-2. Back to Cleary. Half back. Runs into some trouble. Has to go really wide, but he's got a man there in Dale. And Dale marks it. 31. Still at half back. Into Bramble. 1-2. A dashing Dale. Gets to the logo. Has a bounce. He can have another bounce or go long. He goes long up towards West, who marks pretty well uncontested. 45 metres out. Less than a 45-degree angle.
You call her off. If this is boxing, you just call her off. If you're
chuck a towel in.
If you're in the corner of the Bombers, you just throw the towel in and deal with the embarrassment later, because they're just no match for the Western Bulldogs. And it's easy in this type of moment to go after Essendon and be hypercritical of them. And look, they've been poor, but I think as much as anything, the Dogs are just red hot.
West from 45, drop punt on its way, no good. Pushes it out to the right. They'll move to 13-11, 89 to 2-3-15. Bombers supporters, I'll give the early plug for Butts' final siren a bit later. We'll get the number up too. Vent your spleen to me between 11 and midnight.
1300 736 736. Get online now. You can hold for this whole second half and get your irritations out nice and early as this one goes out over the line. We'll get a free kick.
Durham.
Donner's way. You can't play on from there because he can go back over his line.
Extra invoice, Donners, is it, for the older Saturday Night Lights?
Not usually for me, but seeing as I'm on staff, but I'm sure you can throw a couple extra
I'm going to try it on.
digits in the...
See if I get a few calls. You call, you get on.
Absolutely. That is the motto of Midnight Madness with Butts.
Get on your pipe.
Durham, long down the line, broadcast wing, 2-on-1, favours the Dogs. Cleary, been pretty good tonight as Luke Cleary spoils that one out over the line. What an unassuming player, Luke Cleary.
Yeah, they've got a few that are pretty unassuming, like James Harms. Even though we know him, he's doing a really good job for himself, creating a bit of a role on the wing. He can play as a run with occasionally. He's been with Zach Merritt a fair bit.
He took it out of the ruck, threw it on his boot. Fraser got in the way, and we'll get a ball up 52 metres from the Bombers' goal. They're kicking to the right of your radio dial. Saturday night footy for 4 and 20 sausage roll for Elders for Australian Agriculture. Karmas in the ruck up against Langford. Karmas won it down. It fell to Hobbs, but Karmas jumped on top of it here. He's got to be careful. How's the umpire seeing it? He's gone. Holding the ball.
Gee, the crowd's quiet.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day,
play on quickly. Hobbs into the pocket. The spoil came. Clever.
You'd almost say start a fight 30 years ago. You know, get involved.
Just
Bit of John Kennedy, do something.
Just get something going.
Really do it anymore, but you at least need an attitude change.
Yeah, I'm watching the captain closely. He's only had 12 disposals in the game. He's not being tagged. He's just, from a body language perspective, his is almost as bad as anyone's.
Every possession just looks unsure, and they don't know what to do with it when they get the free hand.
On his heels, no opponent. Harms is going to go to him now, but
I even noticed that after half time, JJ. I said it. I mean, it's a cheap shot up here in a puffer vest, isn't it? But he didn't lead him out. Yeah, there was no punch in the way the Bombers ran out onto the ground. I mean, geez, you only get 100 minutes out there. Here go the Dogs again. Johanneson's finding a bit of punch after a couple of injury-plagued years. Goes forward and finds West on his chest again at 45 metres on a 45-degree angle.
Some teams get these corridor out the back shots at goal once every 2 weeks. The Dogs have had 6 or 7 tonight. Johannesson and Bailey Dale streaming through the middle part of the ground where the forward can hit up at the ball or get out the back. And Riley West is, even though he's not a tall man, he's a really good target inside forward 50. He's so dynamic and he's so difficult to handle one-on-one.
West from 49. High drop punt. Looks pretty good. It's good enough. He's got 3. The son of a gun, he's making his own name. You're right, JJ. It's hard to think he was out of the side for a few years there.
Get his way in, could he?
No, he's a beauty. And they're nearing the ton here, the Dogs. They have moved to 14-11 now.
Yeah.
14-11. 95 to 2-3-15, 17 minutes into the third term for Deutz Far Tractors. Cricket score.
We're approaching 100. You typically expect, whether it's late in this quarter, maybe even late in the game, and the Dogs take their foot off the accelerator. Typically speaking, teams take their foot off the accelerator and Essendon might give 3 or 4 cheap goals, but at the moment they've still held them to 2 goals for the best part of 2.5, more than 2.5 quarters. And I'll tell you what, Riley West, I think he's still getting better. He's still improving as a player, still getting comfortable at the level, and he's thrown his weight around a little bit tonight. He just looks like a player who's just really feeling himself.
His 17th goal of the season. He's their leading goal kicker this year as well, JJ, so that's something to hang his hat on. Margin's 80 points. Ball on the outer side. Vandermeer has won himself a free kick.
I like this guy too.
Yeah, you're right. He's improved a lot.
Yeah.
Goes backwards to Cleary. Top edge of the square. Inboard now to Dale. What are we at? 30 yet, JJ?
Past 30. Well and truly.
Yeah, okay, well,
Kick goes all right too.
Cleary gets it back. Finds Sanders off hands. He just threw the handball out there into the middle of nowhere, as did Fraser, but it's in safe hands with Bailey Dale. Backwards again to half back to O'Donnell. Throws it on the boot and finds Lobb. Everything working for the Dogs.
God.
He's got it again. Bailey Dale. Got it on a string tonight. It was at the shoelaces of Karmas. Picked up by Mackay. Nearly stolen away by Fraser. Karmas at the bottom of it. And get a ball up at half forward for the Dogs. Sloppy going.
JJ, I've got an exercise.
Yes.
It'll be
Yeah.
easy. Well, as we just have a look at this stoppage, first hands on the ball by Martin. The great Robert Walls, who we lost during the week, was good at this. I want players, the Bombers, that you give a tick to at this stage.
Well, that will be easy. Yep.
Durham.
How many ticks?
Bailey Dale's up to 35. I believe his PB is 39. I'll just get that confirmed.
Arms, a long one up towards the square. Buku Karmas was the target, but it was a really good intercept mark by Reid. I'm giving him a tick. Do you agree he's been okay?
Yeah, Mackay gets a tick thus far. Reid does. I'll get back to you.
Now we're starting to struggle. Caldwell's got it in the middle of the ground for the Bombers. Can go to Hobbs. Hobbs out to Dersma, who hasn't been the worst.
Yeah, he's close to a tick.
Dersma to Roberts, and then Roberts on the left foot goes deep up towards Daywicks. Hands on the foot, he couldn't mark, but he followed up okay and forces a stoppage deep forward for the Bombers. Okay, so we've got 3, have we?
Yeah. Roberts has been okay. I mean, he's had plenty of the footy. Even, Redmond's had plenty of the footy, but a lot of it has been meaningless. So, yeah, not many. Redmond's had 22, but as I said, not a lot has hurt the Dogs at all.
Thrown in inside 50 for the Dogs. Williams. Here's Dale again, inside 50, I should say, for the Bombers. 36. Dale goes on the boot. 39 is the career high. Good tackle from Riley West. He'll be holding the ball. He is bringing the heat.
Yeah, that's why I like him. He can do a fair bit of everything. He's a good marker. He's a good tackler. He's a good pressure player. He takes his opportunities. He can finish inside 50. He can set goals up. That's why he does a little bit of everything, even going on the left these days.
He's going on the non-preferred to half forward. Reid let it burst through his hands. Pryor didn't want a piece of that at all. Kept it in was Kennedy. Now McNeil on the outside of the boot. English in a one-on-one. Martin did well, tracking it back. Davidson's there as well and takes Goldstein out over the line. They're just ruthless, JJ, at the moment. Even that Kennedy ball, he could easily let that go out over the line, reset, have a little breather and have a boundary throw in. But he kept it in and he kept them going forward.
You don't get to play in these games very often where you're just totally dominant. You almost don't feel fatigued because the game comes so easy to you, and looks like a free kick in the ruck to Goldstein. I mean, English would be feeling the same. He's had the 17 disposals. He's going to end up with mid-20s as well. You just don't seem to get fatigued in these type of games when the game comes so easy.
Oh, Perkins, gee whiz, that's high, up and under ball. Yes, look who's standing underneath it, Dale. A rare blemish. Got the handball away. High tackle, not seen by the umpire. It is now. And McNeil will get it.
If it came out tomorrow that they had a virus and it swept through the cloak, you'd believe it, because that's the way it looks. That they look crook, the Bombers.
Inside 50, Karmas got up high. Couldn't take the mark. English, Sanders. All via hands. Now Bailey Williams standing start with the checky. He won't make the distance. Davidson in the contest, but Martin taking the mark to relieve.
So Martin heads out towards Daywicks, who does pretty well. Got rid of his opponent and then gets on the move. Draws Merritt and then Merritt to Hobbs. Hobbs needs to get rid of it and draws Kako, and now they're forward to centre. Kako runs into trouble, goes back to Merritt, trying to get round onto that left foot. He does now, and jams one up towards half forward. Caddy, the target, great mark. Really good contested mark by the young fella, and he marks at 50. Tidy angle.
He's got a big future, doesn't he? You don't see that many forwards as inexperienced and as young, and look, he's actually not a big key forward. He's sort of more the Charlie Curnow, 6'3", whereas all the key forwards are 6'7", 6'8". That might help him in terms of his physicality early in his career.
Reminds you of a young Nick Rewalt, skinny, blonde. He takes it at the top, at the highest.
He reminds me of more of a recent Charlie Curnow.
So Caddy from 52 sends it way right.
That is a part of his game.
Doesn't score.
Will improve, but that is the part that when you're young, you don't get a lot of opportunities. He's going to be a 10 to 12 possession a game player, you'd think, for the next 18, 24 months. So you've got to take your chances when you can get them.
Another possession from Bailey Dale there, who started this chain. Bontempelli, now to Duray, Sanders.
They can't let go of them.
To Bramble. Had a couple of options. This is a dangerous one. O'Donnell, Dale again. That might nearly be 40 now, JJ. Bombers win it back. Kako over the top. He's got Wright. He finds him, and Wright will take the mark. He can go back for a set shot.
Been a difficult night for Peter Wright. I couldn't believe he was out of the team for so long on form. Arrived back in the team, kicked 6 goals immediately against West Coast, and he's their best sort of key forward target. This will be his 10th disposal.
Goalless the last 2 games.
Yeah, he was all right last week. He just couldn't hit the scoreboard.
Just to get something back here for the Bombers, and when it's not going your way, it's certainly not going your way. He kicks it out to the right, minor score, and they are up to 16 points total. So that score is 14-11-95 to 2-3-15. Bailey-Dale 38, JJ.
Yeah, well, he's one off his PB. He'll probably get that this quarter.
He went to Bramble, and then Bramble to Bontempelli, back to Bramble, and he dashes from one pocket to the other, but that one's cut off by Dersma. Brave mark, running the same way as the footy.
Plays the wing role really well, doesn't he? Understands the angles and how to defend.
He's handed off to Redmond, and Redmond's gone long up towards right. Lobb had a bit of it, couldn't quite take the mark, so it's a scrimmage ball in the goal square. Comes to Shield now. Shield to Martin. Martin to Perkins. Perkins a snap and a goal. So they're at least showing a little bit of fight.
Really kind.
Yeah. I am. It's really, really kind, to be honest.
3/4, Nick.
Yeah. Well, they've kicked their 3rd goal. That's how I'll describe it. So they move to 3-3, trailing 14-11, and we're 25 minutes into the 3rd term for Deutsch. So I retract that. They're not showing any fight, but they kicked their 3rd goal.
Yeah. But again, I think we've tried to do as fair and reasonable a job of. I feel like this is a lot of tonight has been. My takeaway tonight won't be Essendon are terrible. It will be the Western Bulldogs are unbelievably good. And
this is what they're going to do to those teams in the bottom bracket of the ladder. And we saw last week against the Suns, they were pretty good for the 4 quarters.
Yeah, I thought they played well. You can play well in a loss, and that's what they did last week. So, they're a force to be reckoned with. They're not going to get Darcy back, for a long time, maybe at all. Hugo Hagen's not coming back. So this is their lot in life up front, unless they can get Waitman back, and they look pretty dangerous to me.
Break a streak of 4 goals from the Dogs. They go inside 50 again. Langford from the back. Can they get 2 in a minute now? Durham running into an open goal. They let it play. Goal. Advantage paid, or is it coming back? It is a goal. So, 2 quick ones now for the Bombers. They're 4th on the board. 14-11-95, the Dogs. We've got 3 or so minutes to go. 4-4-28, the Bombers for Deutz-Fahr tractors. The Deutz-Fahr Warrior range from 170 to 350 horsepower. It's Deutz-Fahr evolved. Visit deutzfahr.com.au.
He only really knows one way, Durham, doesn't he? Even when he's not having a great night or his team's struggling, he just puts in maximum effort. That's why they love him. Potential future captain of the footy club, and it's a big ask for him to go and tag and then try and win the footy himself. I think he's probably best deployed as a genuine ball-winning mid.
Dogs by 80, 3 minutes to play, third term, and here go the Dogs again through Libba. A high left footer to a 3-on-3. Oh! Buku! Mark of the night and then some. Big hang.
Well, last week he jumped over Mac Andrew. Tonight he jumped on Benny Mackay.
Classic hang. With trophy on the shelf. And now all he's got to do is finish the job.
Himself some frequent fly miles.
It's a cracking hanger. He had the runway because of the 666. There was no one in his way. And he flew and finished the job with the hands. Here he comes, Karmas on the left foot. Is it there? No. Often happens when you're full of adrenaline and looking at yourself on the replay. Minus score for the Dogs. They're 96, the Bombers 15, and we've played 28 minutes third term for Deutzfahr.
Ball back into play now from McGray. Didn't like it off the boot one bit. West got himself in the way. He just trying to get in deep there and ball up and back. So 96 plays 28, 2 minutes to play in this third term for Deutzfahr Tractors. Saturday night footy for 4 and 20 sausage roll. Josh Jenkins, our expert for MEGT.
Wouldn't mind being Josh Kennedy.
Yeah.
Which one?
Either one.
Yeah.
Either.
Fraser spins around and goes inside 50. That was beautiful. That was too classy. Finds Bailey Williams. And they'll get another look at it on the stroke of three-quarter time. It's for the ton.
He's got premiership and I think he catches fish for a living. Doesn't he? The one in Perth and the one in Sydney's
joined the family business.
Mistake-free, isn't he? He hasn't made a mistake in his life. The Sydney version.
Here's Bailey Williams to bring the ton up for the Dogs. They raise the bat in emphatic style. 15-12, 102 to 4-4-28. The Dogs' destroyation continues.
Yeah, everyone's getting in on the act. Williams is, again, pretty understated player out on the wing. He runs up and down the ground, does his thing. He's been out there with Dersma most of the night. Prodigious kick, has his moments. He's probably a fair way down the charts when it comes to the Bulldogs open day when the kids are chasing autographs, but he's a very, very reliable player. I'm sure they're getting after Bontempelli and a few others first, but he's a really reliable player, this guy. And he's spent his time in and out of the team as well, but certainly made a home for himself on the wing. He can go back to half-back and do a roll back there as well. He's a pretty flexible player.
102 plays 28, minute to play, third term. Back in the middle we go. Richards tracking the footy, and here comes Nick Martin, who won it cleanly. Goldstein's little tap wasn't much good, and Kennedy grabbed it and just snapped it forward. Courage required by Pryor. Dropped a chest mark he might have taken normally. Ball back in dispute now in Bulldog hands. It's Bontempelli. He's set upon by a couple. Setterfield, the main tackler there, and we'll get a ball up at 50 for the Dogs. All quickly back in motion. Goldstein down to Durham, slung as he took his kick, and now it's back at ground level. Fraser, really quick hands out to Cleary, and then Cleary can go sideways to Bailey Williams, and Williams has got it at 65. He kicks it into the pocket where he's got English, and English takes a mark, and he'll have probably the last kick of the quarter. Tight angle, 35 metres out.
We're in a really difficult spot in terms of their ruck situation. The Bombers, aren't they? Todd Goldstein's just, it's incredibly hard for him physically just to keep up with some of these ruckmen, and as he plays 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 games in a row, it's only going to get harder and harder. So just wonder if there's one that they can lean on, even as a chop out, not someone you think can be an 8-year player for you in the mid-season draft, just someone who can help him and chop him out throughout the year.
English from the pockets. Ooh, hits the woodwork. Minus score. So the scoreboard will read 15-13, 103 to 4-4-28. Three-quarter time for Deutzfahr Tractors. It's a dead set smashing here at Marvel Stadium. This is AFL Nation football.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for the Deutz-Fahr Warrior range. From 170 to 350 horsepower, it's Deutz-Fahr Evolve. Visit deutzfahr.com.au.
Through 100 years, New Farm has gone through thick and thin with Australian farmers. Through protection, through innovation, through growth. Also that Australian farmers are there for Australia. Because when you choose New Farm's crop protection solutions, you choose to support Australian jobs, Australian innovation, and a strong Australian supply chain. Through our partnership, we're tougher together. Visit newfarm.com.au. New Farm, Australian through and through.
Need truck parts? Get expert service from the team that knows their stuff at Truckline. Whether you've got a Japanese, North American or European truck or trailer, we've got the parts to get you back on the road in no time. From hoses to transmissions and everything in between, we'll get you sorted fast. Truckline keeps Australia's trucks moving. Find your local store at truckline.com.au.
Get 100% comfy with OMF stock take sale. For 2 weeks only, buy any base, bed frame or bedroom item and get up to 55% off selected Australian design quality mattresses, like our Refresh mattress under $1,400, or our Mandalay Bay mattress now under $2,000, and get up to 20% off selected bedroom furniture. This week only, buy any modern, family or signature mattress and receive 2 bonus pillows. Hurry, these offers won't last. End soon at OMF, the home of mattress, bedroom, bedding and furniture.
Hey, it's Ariane Titmus. Australian Made Week is almost here, and it's your chance to go for green and gold. From the 19th to the 25th of May, get out there and support the home team by buying Australian Made. So, if you've got what it takes to be a champion, look for the famous green and gold kangaroo logo and get behind our makers and growers. Because Australian Made makes Australia. Visit australianmadeweek.com.au.
At Azito, we know for you it's about leaving your mark. It's a statement, making every task uniquely yours. Azito doesn't just have your back, we're right there with you, powering your DIY journey. With over 100 tools for your home and garden, all powered by one battery to make it happen. Because when it comes to getting things done, this is your moment. Do it yourself. Do it with Azito. Do you?
This weekend, don't just take a punt, bet with confidence thanks to Tipper. Tipper is the real-time marketplace for punters and tipsters, bringing you expert tips on demand. They're flipping tipping on its head. There's no gimmicks and no subscriptions. Just flip an expert tip when you want one and never pay for a losing tip again. Tipper, the tipping marketplace. Download the Tipper app. That's TIPR. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
In footy, you've got one guarantee each week. It's not the win or loss. It's not the coach's spray. And it's not the cry of... It's the 4 and 20 pie. That classic taste of 100% Australian meat in delicious gravy wrapped in golden pastry. Like coming back to win from 10 goals down. Nothing beats the aroma and taste of a 4 and 20 pie. There's a win in every bite. 4 and 20, Australia's original fan food.
Mate, if I say the word laser, what do you think of? Laser tag? Pew pew. No, you clown. Laser cutting. Close. Laser welding? Correct.
Roofing and Sheet Metal Centre can laser weld stainless steel in gauges down to 1.2 mil. Stainless steel roofing and rainwater products have a longer lifespan, are more resistant to corrosion, plus they look great. And with a lighter gauge stainless steel, you can get these benefits for less. Visit rscentre.com.au/stainless steel.
You're listening to AFL Nation for Elders. Open an Elders Rural Products prepayment account to win. And 4 and 20 pies. You can't have footy without a 4 and 20 pie.
Peter Wright, he wheels and goes. This is a bit better. Quicker entry up towards Caddy. Gave a bit of a shove but got away with it. Took the mark and quickly played on. He's got Martin out in space. Martin kicks a goal. And there you go. There's something to build on at least. He's got further away from goal though as he had to step around Martin. If he gets a bit of space here, Dale, he load up. He wanted it as well. Bontempelli coming out, snapping around the body. Oh, he's the best in the game. Oh my goodness. Big, bad, beautiful Bont.
Macca's, I'm loving it moments. Macca's new Tennessee barbecue range, kicking flavour goals.
Yeah, we all love a bit of Bont on a Saturday night here at Marvel Stadium. It's the Dogs by 74 points. They are in complete control. 15-13, 103 to 4-4, 28 for 4 and 20 Pies and for Elders for Australian Agriculture. John Donohoe, Nick Butler and Josh Jenkins to take you through the last quarter of action. JJ, what's the plan here from the Dogs? Foot on the throat, or do they conserve themselves and get themselves set up and ready to go for a big game on Thursday night?
No, I'd be thinking conserve because so they're on the back up from Darwin, and then they've got the short turn, the 5-day turn to the Cats and a date with Bailey Smith. So I'm thinking conservation for Bonson Pally, maybe for Bailey Dale as well, and maybe even protect Libba from himself.
Well, Bont is in the middle here, and to get us underway in the last quarter, here's Nick Butler.
The Bombers go forward for a rare occasion. And now through Setterfield and Martin, they're a chance to get a second entry up towards Langford. Hands on the footy, couldn't control it, bobbles it over the line, and we'll have a throw in. 35 round from the Bombers goal. That talkback number again, Donners, please.
1300 736 736. Bombers, I feel like the Bombers fans, I tell you what, you'll be like a therapist tonight.
Yes, Bombers talkback. Don't wait till tomorrow. Vent your spleen tonight. I'll get you on.
Yes.
Righto, getting carried away with my own work. Ball's back in motion. Here we go. Liberatore off to Kennedy. Kennedy, a high one out towards centre wing. Norton's been one of the quieter dogs. Needs to find just a little bit of form in the last quarter so they all feel good. 40. Here we go. Long one from Dale out in front of Karmas, who's been good. Karmas can give it to Vandermeer. Vandermeer runs to 50 and chips a beautiful pass to Harms, and Harms marks. Tight angle, 30 out from goal.
So career high for Bailey Dale.
Yeah, career high 40 and counting. He'll need to do his work early because I reckon he might be one they'll be looking to get a rest to.
So Harms, the former D, who's making a nice go of it at the Dogs. It's a high, ugly ball. Here's Norton, hands on, couldn't mark. Vandermeer has a go. It's going to go close to the line. Norton smartly knocked it back into a dangerous spot. Richards dispossessed. Pretty good defence on that occasion by the Bombers, and they can clear through McGrath, who finds Caddy on centre wing.
Caddy out of side.
The shape from the Dogs is still working super hard. Dale and Duray able to get back first. The Essendon forwards able to work as hard as the Dogs defenders. That should be the opposite. It should be Essendon forwards charging back to goal, particularly when you consider the state of the scoreboard.
The 30 swings it across defensive 50. Reid had to take it on the bounce.
I wouldn't be opposed to sitting Reid either at the end of this game. It was halfway through the quarter.
Kennedy nearly stole it away, but Durham did. He's probably been Essendon's best today. Loops the handball now in the direction of Shield. That's not his best. Lob will eat that up. Lob beat Kako, JJ.
That's an outrageous decision. Dylan Shield. He had Langford rolling fat side of the ground. That was the option.
Lob at 207 and Kako at 176 centimetres. It was always going to go one way, I reckon. Kennedy down the wing. Ball bounced favourably for Pryor. Chips short. It's Archer Day Wicks on the left boot. Rolls and goes. To the right. Too far out to score. He's got to wheel around and get it in there deep. He does do that. The fly will come from Roberts. But past him, there's Bailey Dale. Possession 41, 42. We'll get that covered off in a sec. O'Donnell bouncing out of defensive 50. Norton in a wrestle with Mackay. Could he get 50? Well, Mackay just was able to get enough on it. There as well, and the Dogs will pounce through Duray as he goes back to English on the top edge of the square.
I'm looking for an interest in this game, and Dale getting 50 might just get me up and about. Because all I can think about is that talkback at the moment. Here we go, here's the Bont. Is there prizes, Donners? Have we got anything in the prize cupboard?
I'm sure Ollie will find you something.
Right, Ollie, find me something, please. Need to reward these callers.
A temper pillow or something.
It's the Bont at 70. Heads in towards the hot spot. The ball goes over the back. Nice. Richards, really nice little underground handball to West, who does the biggest don't argue I've seen since Dusty retired, and kicks a goal.
And has something to say.
Riley West, the little big man.
That is unbelievable.
Flexes some muscles, says, get out of my space.
Oh, he gave him the NBA too small as well.
Oh, yeah. Kicks number 4.
Don't mind that. Good on him. He's had to work hard for his AFL career. It's taken a little bit of time. I can only imagine how difficult it is to be the son of a gun. Everyone wants to talk about your old man and wondering why you're not as good as your old man. Well, he's on his way to being a very, very good player, and have a look at that.
It was a full bench press
and
job.
He's giving him the too small. Older kids do that on Saturdays and Sunday mornings in the basketball court, but it's the first time I've ever seen it on an AFL fan.
I don't think Dusty ever did one. As aggressive as that.
It was aggressive, yeah. There was venom in that.
But it was just a shrug of the shoulders.
A slight young man.
Gee, that was nice to watch.
I like the lad.
Yeah, Bombers get it out of the middle. Here's Durham. He can hold his head high. Wobbly ball inside 50. O'Donnell and Langford both went to ground. Martin flicks it over the top now to Langford. Can he get a goal? He can't. A scrubby one inside. Lob led out to it. Tackle came from Shield. Williams, Johannesson, smother from Merritt. Right on the end of it. Merritt gets it back, tight against the boundary line. Gave that one up straight to Liberatore. And the Dogs will be out here. Here's the dash of Johannesson out of half back. Takes one bounce, burns off Merritt. Long kick down the line. 1-on-1 upfield. Almost got numbers. McGrath, he'll bounce through the middle of the ground, and they might be able to get themselves out of trouble here with Reid as he loops a handball over the top to Goldstein.
Yeah, floaty handball it was. Goldstein off to Dersmer, and then Dersmer a poppy little ball that's okay to half forward, and that's marked by Martin. So Martin, 70 metres from goal. Looks like he's going for a little set-up, and that's a pretty good one too, and finds big Peter Wright in goal-kicking range for him. He's 40 metres out pretty well directly in front.
They had a couple of Nick Martin because they've got what they would deem ball users off half-back in Ridley and McGrath. But I don't know that they're aggressive enough by foot. Martin's always looking to chew off a kick back through the middle of the ground. That was a beautiful kick to the space. Peter Wright was only half-heartedly on the lead, and Martin spotted him up.
Big 2 metre, kicks a goal. Well done to him. All you can do is keep presenting
Play
at
it
this
out.
stage.
Yep. Spot on. Get a couple.
Yep.
Give yourself something to move forward with next week, and particularly get to the end of the season and you get thumped by the Western Bulldogs in round 10. Well, did you kick none or did you kick a couple? And at the end of the year, they all add up. You get your 45 or your 40 goals. And these nights matter, and they matter for next week. Peter Wright can look. There's nothing that can happen over the next 15 or 20 minutes for Peter Wright or for many of the Bombers that can make them feel that good about tonight. But you can do a little bit that can make you feel better about next week and take something out of the game. And when you go and sit down with your coach on Monday, and sure, you'll see a lot of stuff that'll make you uncomfortable, but I'm sure the coaches will leave you with what you did in the last quarter. And if you're bringing something to the table, it can just give you a little spike and a little spur on for the following week.
5-point margin. Josh Jenkins, our expert for MEGT tonight on Saturday Night Footy. Here's Shield bounding out through the middle of the ground. He's got fresh legs. That wasn't his best. A wobbly kick inside. Cleary bounces off a couple. Kako got a hand in there, but Cleary gave the handball back to Bramble. Oh, he coughed it right up to Langford. Lob was there, though, to lay a big, strong tackle. Got the ball up 20 metres out from goal.
Bill Shield needs some positive energy, JJ, because he's kicked the last 3 off his ankle.
Yeah, I reckon he's a player who's sort of feeling his career sort of mortality, right here, right now, and in a defeat like this, he was a sub coming in. He hasn't been able to have an impact. You'd expect Brad Scott to make some changes on the back of a performance like this. Now, look, the result of the game is not on his shoulders, but whenever you get to that age, and fans always want to see the next young player, and he's always been one that's been listening fans. We'll move Shield out of the midfield, move Shield out of the team, and give us a look at the next young player.
Ball and half forward. Bombers, and this one will be spoiled out over the line of hands.
Even the role he's playing, like he's the furthest player from the ball right at this contest. He's playing in the wing, and he's 50, 60 metres away from the ball, so it's very, very difficult to impact the game in the role that he's playing at the moment, but you just got to do your best in whatever the situation that's presented.
So ball back in motion again. English, a nice creative handball in the end, out in front of the doctor in Davidson, who's got some really nice toe and just general spunk, and he goes forward up towards McNeil in a one-on-one against McGrath. McGrath wins it, but coughs it up again to Buku Kamas, who's tackled hard by Reed, and we'll have a stoppage deep forward for the Dogs. Bombers fans, if you just want to talk about it, the lines will be open after 11.
You might have a few Doggies fans making a few declarations.
Well, that's okay as well. If they've had a beer or two and they want to talk a bit of shop, talk about flags, I'm happy to take those calls. But Bombers, I'm just here. Talk it out tonight.
I've had a few Dogs fans over the weeks, but so you might be in luck tonight. Rushman goes through 16, 14, 110, 5, 4, 34. But I think the theme of the night will probably come from an Essendon perspective, I would imagine, as this ball's turned over. The kick in. It's just going from bad to worse.
Anyone who's played at any level knows what the Bombers are feeling here. They will not sleep tonight. They'll feel shies
You
until
haven't played
Tuesday.
meaningful footy if you haven't felt what the Bombers are going to feel for the next day or two.
Do you think Brad Scott is the kind of man that'll give it to him tonight, or will he wait?
He'll wait.
So Bailey Williams passes the paint of 50 for his second of the night. Pushes it.
There's probably no point.
The one thing, the most remarkable thing about Chris Scott in my dealings with him, now Brad's not Chris, but they're pretty similar individuals. Yeah. They're both incredibly fiery, aren't they? They're both very spirited people. They've played angry. It looks like they coach angry. Chris can remove emotion from any result like no coach I've ever seen. I remember playing a game as Martin turns it over again.
Yeah, it's a Duray. So Duray's got it. We'll get back to you, JJ. We'll just see what Duray does here for his spurts from half forward. That's right. We'll just hit the stop button. He goes forward. Good mark to Mackay, who has had one of his better games as a Bomber.
He's won his role. He's won his position against Norton. Absolutely he has. So Chris Scott was able to play in a game where we got belted by Adelaide, and I thought we absolutely deserve a spray. But good coaches they know they've never got the full information 5 minutes after the game. You might go and say things that just aren't true and aren't accurate because you're in the moment. So I don't think Brad Scott will go after these guys until Monday.
Here's Bailey Williams running inside 50, can use Norton. Norton can give it to Richards, who has a balk and a step and then a fumble. He's still got the footy, tosses it out to Sanders. Sanders can use Karmas. Karmas can have a snap and kick a goal. Buku gets two. And they're all having a bit of fun now. So they should. 17-15 to 5-4. 12 minutes into the final term for Tyre Power Mega Mesa.
And there might be people, Bombers fans maybe driving home who were at the game saying, well, hang on, we deserve a spray. Well, I think the time for that will be Monday when the coaches have had a chance to. I think you need to look at the vision, work out why you were so bad, have time to remove your emotion, look at it properly, understand the game, have a look at some of the things in the moment you thought, geez, that was weak, or geez, that was poor. You need to go back and just make sure it was, because you can't unsay things. If you say something to a player after the game and it's completely inaccurate, you can really damage some relationships. So they'll go through it and they'll handle it Monday.
The time for the spray was probably half time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yep, spot on.
Bombers, Dogs by 83 points. Durham bouncing out of the middle, chipping, looking for Kako.
Yeah.
Duray able to get up and take the mark. Lob. They're all just joining the party now. How good was that kick from fullback Fraser?
He kicks it amazingly well for a tall defender, Rory Lobb. I don't think we understand how superb his transition to playing key back has been.
Career saver.
Does it make you think you should have gone back?
Yeah, it honestly
My
does.
goodness. I'd be having night sweats.
Belly on the left inside. Vandermeer leading out. and takes the mark.
But having said that, it's easy to say that.
Yeah,
There's no way it's as easy as he's making it look. There's no chance. But, he has been played in the wrong position for most of his career because
Funny though, a lot of
teams...
forwards are better backs than they are forwards.
Well, he just feels the game so much better back there. And the other part is the reason I don't think Norton...
Vandermeer wheels around and it's up the angle and misses.
The reason I don't think Norton would be a really impactful key defender is I don't think he can kick.
Yeah.
Lob is an unbelievably good kick.
Yeah, and he's got the stretch.
There's
and he's
no
got
point
closing speed.
You do need if you can't kick.
Yeah, you do need to defend a bit as well. You do need a bit of closing speed. As here he is again, lob. He's pretty good off his toes there, and then a creative handball to Cleary, and they're away again through Giray, and they're lining up here on the outer side. Here's Norton pushed up the ground, can chip one out in front of the Doc and Davidson, who can run, runs to 50, chips it to Karmas, and Karmas marks only 25 out. Tight angle.
Haven't really taken the foot off, have they, the Dogs? If anything, they've just left a few chances out there. 17 goals, 16. So it's at 33 scoring shots to 9. That is, sometimes we can get fancy with the stats, but 33 scoring shots to 9 is significantly one-sided.
Buku, he's a pretty handy defender in his own right. He can play that intercept game too. Steps around on the right and gets his third. And they love him too, Buku. He's taken one of the marks of the year. He's kicked 3. He's feeling tickety-boo tonight, Buku.
They're saying boo or Buku?
Just a Buku. I hope.
Haley Dale's coming from the ground. He's lost interest in the game. I haven't seen him have a kick for
43 disposals.
Minutes. 43, wowee. Imagine
it's a good fill.
Imagine what that'd feel like.
43 times.
Being on the road, the Dogs have had a pretty tough schedule. They've had a really tough schedule now. I don't have a lot of sympathy for the clubs that live in Victoria because what goes around comes around. But, they've been to Darwin, they've been to Canberra. Of course, everyone went to gather round. I think they've been to Perth. So, they've been around. So you've got to think in the back half of the year they're going to be able to settle in Melbourne.
Yeah, they will
get some troops back and things look really good for them.
Combined 5 Thursday and Friday night games in the back half as well.
And when they play this way, they deserve all of them.
And they get Darcy back.
Yeah, they do. They get Geelong next week, followed by the bye, then Hawthorn, St Kilda, Richmond and Sydney. So you think some more wins are coming, JJ?
That's radio on Thursday. Big
3 of those at Marvel, 1 at GMHBA, and then the SCG Encounter as well. So the Dogs setting themselves up nicely. They're on the outer side. Here's West. What a night he's had. Gets past Day Wicks. Inside 50 they go. Pryor got to front position, took the mark defensively. He's on quickly, finds Setterfield. Inside defensive 50, fans it. Towards the boundary line. It's Dersma. He's able to chip over the top to Caldwell. Now to Roberts. Ran into a roadblock. Caldwell had to bounce off a couple. Back to Setterfield. Making it look arduous here, the Bombers. There's a free kick found. And it will be a Bombers free kick. Centre-half back. It'll be
JJ. The names come to me. Desperate times for desperate measures. Sam Wiedemann's running around for Vermont, kicking bags of 7.
Go back to him, do they?
Well, could you look at him as a backup ruck at 6'4"?
Throw that out there at 11.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to start.
I don't.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of AFL.
Throw it out then.
Capable. All right, I might. They're getting off.
1-300.
They're going to need a few.
3-6 as this one's turned over. Harms able to come out strong and take it. Libba.
You haven't come up with a player.
Just waited for Fraser. And he's able to find Buku. 3 goals on the night tonight.
Tell you what, 20 years ago, I'd be sending in the tapes. Don't you worry about that.
Cobbets.
Clogging inboxes all over the place for recruiters.
On the left boot. The voice of Nick Butler. You'll hear him post-game. Good job in taking over for me tonight, Butts. I appreciate it.
I don't know what they do. It's a dire situation. I mean, I reckon we've honestly watched Goldie almost slow to a walk, and it's harsh on him, but he's probably got next to no right to be playing consistently week after week after week. He's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be the ruck coach.
He was just thrown into it in the end, wasn't he? Because they had 3 consecutive rucks go down.
No preparation.
No prep, and he's just thrown in.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, he's a gun aerobic runner, and he's a resilient bloke. I mean, he's played almost 400 games for a reason, or north of 300. Yeah.
And considering the position they're in, he is the best possible option you could have. But what's next? Because in 4 weeks, when teams are starting to make their run, it might be the difference in a big game against a team who have got a big, powerful ruckman.
Lob from half-back, goes long and strong up to O'Donnell. I found a gun there, playing district cricket if you don't mind. Spent nothing for him. Recruiting. Perkins now for the Bombers. They get it on a turnover. He's been quiet, Perkins, and he can't get away on that occasion. Good strong tackle. Comes back to the Bombers. Would have been Day Wicks who can head sideways and find Merritt, who just darted inside 50 and the skipper marked. And he'll have a late shot at goal with the scoreboard reading 124-34.
Been pretty symbolic of their night. It's probably the most sort of unenergised, lethargic night I've seen from him in quite some time. This will be possession number 19.
Merritt from 48 kicks it out of bounds on the full, if you don't mind.
That's the night. And he's entitled to have these, because this is probably the 3rd for his career.
Here's Dale. What's that? 44, 45.
That was a 1-2, was it not?
Yes, it was.
45. Someone get him a message that he's almost got Fitty.
Fitty. When was the last time we saw Fitty? Gary Ablett Jr.
Mitchell?
Maybe Mitchell. Here's Caldwell for the Bombers at centre-half forward. Get it near Dale. It's a long one up towards right. Couldn't complete the mark. Got a front on.
A few more behinds would help him. I reckon recent times, Scott Thompson got a 50 when I played with him one night. I only got that against Gold.
It's been about 39.
Mitchell's got a 50 odd. He might have a couple. Ablett used to get 50 and get tagged.
Great biceps.
54 is the best ever from Tom Mitchell.
Is that the best ever?
Yeah. So other players have reached 50 in a single game include Lockie Neal, Scott Thompson, both with 51.
This is in the champion data era, though. There was a few before champion data, I think. Peter Wright kicking a slider.
He's 46.
Minus score. Does Dale take it? Yes, he does.
5 minutes to play as well, so he plays on.
He knows.
Step out there, JJ. He did it.
He was on for the 1-2.
46 he's at.
Bramble. Deep defence. Just a few little tight steps and then heads out towards Davidson, who takes a nice mark.
Good overhead.
Here we go. He's on again. He knows.
He's good overhead, this guy, isn't he, Davidson? He plays taller than he is.
Well around the Tigers sub list. Follows up there. Crosses the wing logos and heads deep up into the pocket, up towards Vandermeer. Couldn't take the one-hander, but followed up really well. Kept the ball alive. Redmond had a bit of a fumble. It's still alive in a contested situation. Comes out now to Pryor. He couldn't quite take it. Kennedy does. Back to Richards. Snap. Close. Behind. Minus score. They'll move to 125, leading the Bombers 35. And we've played 23 minutes in the final term for Taipo.
You've always got him on 46. My stats have just frozen. He sent it into overdrive.
O'Donnell takes a mark.
I hate to call him for 50 if he was only on 49.
46, JJ. As they go inside 50 again, the Dogs. Mark nearly taken by Richards. He looks to be playing a bit forward now. Caldwell bouncing out. This goes to Dersma, who's still inside defensive 50. Right. Nice kick, let out hard.
I've liked Peter Wright's last quarter. A couple of shots at goal. He's working hard to get these outlets. And those type of marks, so, busting your gut to take a mark at half-back, they are the types of marks that you're going to get consistently. These shots on goal and the marks inside 50, they're going to come and go.
The 30 in the pocket. Just a chip to half-back, Redmond. Bombers have stopped to a walk. Here's a little bit of run, though, from McGrath. Went one way, then the other, and then wobbly one towards the boundary. Broadcast wing. They still haven't gone past halfway, the Bombers. Pryor on the inside. Get it to him now on the left boot. That's a nice kick. Day Wicks plays on quickly to Perkins, but again stopped in his tracks. That's Goldstein further afield. Day Wicks runs on. He'll have to get it on his left boot and drive it inside 50. Merritt flew off hands. He didn't take the mark. Follows up nicely and able to hit centre field, who was waiting central inside attacking 50 for the Bombers.
We're going to need this to miss, and we're going to need a 1-2 out of the defensive goal square, because we've got the Lee Matthews issue. We need 4 disposals in under 3 minutes. Just ever so slowly walking back in case centre field misses what he shouldn't.
Yet to kick a goal in 2025 from his 5 games. Will Setterfield directly in front, 40 metres out, and he has missed.
So we need the 1-2 here.
Yes.
And I've got a feeling Bailey Dale knows he's on a big number.
Argent's
What's he
89.
on? He's on 47.
47, yeah.
That was his 47th.
So the Dogs out of side, it's all academic, but Bailey Dale getting 50 is something to crow about. He's nowhere near the footy here, but Davidson and Bontempelli are. Now it's going to come back, though.
Coming back.
McGrath for the Bombers. It's deep forward. O'Donnell marks it. Give it to Dale. Give it to Dale.
Trying.
They are trying.
He'll get this one.
He's a hard worker, hard runner. Here we go. Dale gets 48.
Someone.
And it's nice. He gets it to Buku.
Got to time his run better.
Forward. Get the cheapies.
Here we go.
49.
He's a chance again. 49 for Dale.
Someone tell him.
Dale on the wing can give it to English. And English chips run forward.
Fitty, is he?
And they take a mark. It's Kennedy, I think.
He's on 49.
My stats have him on 47, so they can't even keep up with what Bailey Dale's just done.
All the other boxes were celebrating. Hopefully they've gone early.
Yes.
Stuffed it up.
There's 49 here for me.
Yeah, he's on 49.
Kennedy's got the shot.
I reckon
from 40 metres.
Someone knows.
And it's a high one, not going to be a goal. In fact, it's only just a score. It's a minor score.
Right. They need to put it on the scoreboard, because often they'll put the players' stats up on the scoreboard.
Right, let's see if he can get involved. He'll be involved in this passage here, you'd think.
Here we go.
Turned over to Williams. Cut it back inboard, Williams.
Excuse him!
Take him off, Bevo!
The whole crowd knows.
Bailey Dale gave him a spray. He gave him a spray, Bailey to Bailey.
And Bailey Williams apologised and said, I'm so sorry. As Norton
so they know.
Will line up in the pocket.
Aaron, you've got 250 goals. Just kick it to...
Around the body, this will be a miss.
No, they all know. He'll get it.
He'll get it. Definitely know.
Yeah. Oh, 38 seconds.
Absolutely baked Bailey Williams there for not giving
Fair
it to
enough
him.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He won't sleep
18, 19, 127 to 5, 6, 36, 26 and a half played.
McGrath a long one. Where's Dale? In the middle of the ground. Oh, English dropped the pud.
That was
he
it,
could have squared one to him.
Yeah, that was it.
Is it the back here?
Arms tackled to ground, and we'll have a ball up. What are we down to? 20 seconds.
In the crowd are all over.
Everyone's got an app. It's the modern footy. Probably, hopefully, listening to us.
49 disposals is incredible.
Where is he? I'll call the play. Someone watch Dale.
And if Ollie's listening, we need to speak to him after the game.
We have requested him.
Setterfield for the Bombers.
Trouble.
Out to Peter Wright.
Trouble.
And I reckon he's going to end up on 49. Long ball for the Bombers. Inside 50, O'Donnell. Dropped it, marked it, dropped it, siren. Dale's ended up on 49, but this is a dead set shellacking, a statement game for the Dogs. 127 to 36.
West, they get their 6th win on the board in emphatic fashion. The Bulldogs win by 91 points, 18-19, 127 to 5-6-36. John Donohoe, Nick Butler and Josh Jenkins with you. And JJ, the salty Bulldog, also known as Matty Donald, who was one of our men back at SEN Towers. With 49 disposals, he says Bailey Dale now holds the record for most disposals ever by a Western Bulldogs player, previously shared by Ryan Griffin and Simon Atkins, who had 47. So no better man to find out that stat. We're going to speak to Ed Richards post-game, so we've been denied the miracle man. Overall thoughts?
Well, I want to focus on the positive, and I leave here again thinking, well, you know what I reckon the story might be Monday?
What's that?
Are we re-signing the coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that.
Because
he's done a great job.
At this point in the season, I've got no doubt I think there's probably a freedom that he's coaching with, because he seems at ease with... Look, I've got no doubt he'd prefer to coach on, but he seems at ease. You know, he's come out and said, well, if I'm not coaching the Dogs, I won't be coaching. You know, so maybe he's thought, well, what does life look like if I'm not coaching? Well, okay, that actually seems semi-attractive. So he's comfortable either way, and it might be bringing out the best in him as a coach. So I think that's the lead story Monday. And the second part to that is how good are they? And to my eye, they look every bit as good as the next contender. Absolutely. Now, here they're very good, but we saw them play good footy in Darwin last week. We'll see them go to Geelong next week.
That's a big test.
It'll be a week in Geelong. Dangerfield won't play. They picked up a few other little nicks. Jack Bowe's copped a hammy as well. So Geelong are getting injuries, but they got Jack Henry back, who's an important part. Of course, the Bailey Smith stuff will start pretty much immediately. So, you know, that's going to be a big challenge for them. They go down there and win that game, you know, in some sort of emphatic fashion, then all of a sudden we have to be genuinely looking at a premiership contender, which we might be already.
Yeah. And if they win their 6th game tonight, they win that, they go to 7-4, and they set themselves up for quite a good month for them. So they have the bye after Geelong, they freshen themselves up. Hawthorn at Marvel is going to be a really intriguing battle. That's going to be a great game here. Saints at Marvel, who they belted by 70-odd points only 5 weeks ago. Then Richmond and then Sydney. So let's just say they win those last 3 that I mentioned at least, St Kilda, Richmond and Sydney. If they can take one of Hawthorn or Geelong, they set themselves up for a really good season back half.
I think you know, you are what your record says you are, and they're 6-4, but they feel like a team that's better than 6-4.
Yeah.
You know, they feel like one of the informed team in the competition. It's hard to look past Collingwood and Brisbane and even Gold Coast, but you know, in terms of the eye test, if you take away the scoreboard, you take away the wins and losses, gee, their game feels in great shape. And you know, I come from a point of view where I was low on them. I didn't have them in the 8 this year, but since watching them, you know, new information, new opinion, watching them, I think the loss of Waitman has allowed Vandermeer and West to really emerge as players. Clearly the loss of Bontempelli and Treloar early in the season has given the opportunities to Fraser and Richards and others around the ball. Now that some of those injured players are back, the players who covered for them and covered for them well are now playing alongside Bontempelli and these guys who have come back, not just falling in behind them and saying, Bont, you go and carry us and we'll just do bits and pieces. Yeah. Ed Richards is playing every bit as well as Marcus Bontempelli is, and when you've got that, and you've got Libba, and you've got Fraser, and you've got Davidson emerging, you've got James O'Donnell truly emerging at half-back, gee, they're an impressive team. Their forward line is going to be, because of injury, the part that needs to continually be tweaked. But Riley West is dangerous, Vandermeer's dangerous. Norton only needs to just work and compete and be a bullocking target. I'd love him to kick some goals, but
this is the thing, that they're finding other avenues to goal. So Bontempelli's kicking a lot of goals. They've got West, they've got guys like Karmas, they've got Kennedy who can bob up. He kicked 3 last week. So they're not reliant on a Darcy who's not on the side, or a Norton, but they're doing it as a team, and that's what premiership teams do.
In big games, I think, you look at some of the big games and big performers over the past couple of years. Joe Danaher has stood up in big finals and done the job. Are you going to, when it's difficult for role players to have a massive impact in massive moments, and that's across world sport, your role players don't necessarily have big moments in big games. You need your superstars to stand up, and who is the superstar inside forward 50? At the moment, it doesn't matter because it is goals by committee, but Norton's the one who was interesting. I'm not as harsh on him as Kane Corns is and a few others, but he's interesting to track how he's going.
I think his work rate is pretty strong, and he gets. At the moment, he's getting the number one defender in each team, so that's always a hard proposition.
He's kicked 53 goals in a season before. He's on target for, I think he's on target to maybe just get 30. Yeah. So, it's a big drop off, but as you said, the rest of the team is better.
Bulldogs win their 9th straight match at Marvel Stadium, so they're making this a bit of a fortress, and only 2 of those 9 games, JJ, they've kicked under 100 points. So
they've really evolved their offensive game. They're an attacking team, which you've got to be. I think you'd rather be top 2 in attack than top 2 in defence in 2025.
47,000 people in at Marvel Stadium tonight. We'll hear the Dogs in a moment. We'll speak to Ed Richards. We're going to open up the phone lines after 11 o'clock as well as Butler's final siren takes place. 1300 736 736. Big thanks to Butts for jumping in for me for the night. 18-19, 127 to 5-6-36. Let's take you down to the rooms. Doggies celebrating for Trojan Brothers
Sons of the West, woo, red, white and blue, woo, we'll come out styling. Bulldogs through and through, what we say, Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We give our very best. Let's jump in the boys of the Bulldog breed with the team of the Mighty West.
91-point victors. We'll speak to Ed Richards in a moment. 4 goals to Riley West tonight, 3 to Buku Karmas, 2 to Marcus Bontempelli, 2 to Ed Richards, and singles JJ to Matt Kennedy, Latham Vandermeer, Lockie McNeil, Aaron Norton, Bailey Williams, and Sam Davidson. So I'm just checking, Mark, do we need to take a break? No, okay, don't take a break. We'll hold on and we'll speak to Ed Richards after a short presentation.
So a presentation for a long-time staff member, I think, a trainer or a water person who was getting celebrated by someone. They're presenting the cup as well in the rooms. So the Dogs have done some great things over the past few weeks. Even in a loss, I think you can still learn a fair bit and take a lot of confidence from a team, and that's what I felt like we saw. Even Hawthorn the same Thursday night. I think we took a lot of confidence out of what the Dogs did in Darwin last week, and they've absolutely franked that form tonight.